Hope everybody is doing well and everyone is safe. If you are in the path of all of the storms that we have going up through the East Coast today, what's up, Titus? Good to see you. How is everyone? What's up, Ness Butterfly? Hopefully you are doing well. Hi. So you all might be like, well, damn, Danny, this is a different topic than last night. It is. And I'll share with you what happened in a minute. What's up, Sharon? Hey, Lenny for Humanity. What's up, MG Brock? Hey, Des. How is everyone? What's up, Adam and Amy and Candy Kiss? What's up, Doug? Hey, Sandy. Hey, Farah. Good morning. I think it's afternoon my time now. Hey, Amanda. I know I'm late, but we had storms and stuff. And so I waited a bit before I went live. What's up, Veronica? Hey, Cam. Appreciate everybody rolling on in. I have changed the title and the image of this live approximately 4 times today. Not for me, Tara Love, not for me. We managed, I am Adam. So we had some heavy winds and rains and things like that. And it's still raining, but so far we're good over here in my little world. So kudos for that, right? Really, really happy about that. So you guys, when I tell you that I have changed the subject, hey, Sherry, no, Linda, I've got power. I am good. You are down for this title. So let me just share with you all the challenge that I had today with my title. So here's the challenge. I have so many things that I want to talk about. Like I literally had like a whole list of today's topics, right? It was a lot. And yay, Conchita, I love that. And so here's what was happening at the same time. People were still commenting on Facebook on my other post. And hey, what's up, Cheryl? What's up, Delgrave, tech lady? And so as soon as I was doing the graphics and everything, I got tagged in another response, right? Thank you, Veronica. And what's wild is it was another dude, and I say dude because that's what I mean. It was another dude, hey, Sean, hey, Witch, in my comments, mansplaining something that I'm very certain that I know more about than he does. And I was like, I am so sick of mediocre men tagging me in their comments and they don't know shit. I am so tired of mediocre men sitting in pulpits and behind podiums trying to mansplain things that we all know better. I am just, oh my God, I can't take it. And so this became the title because it applied to every topic that I want to talk about, right? So I want to talk about Iran and Israel and the US. And of course, I've had men trying to mansplain. I've got a clip I'm going to play for you of both the president and the Secretary of Defense mansplaining this war in a way that just makes absolutely no sense. Hey, Jay Bird. It is just so exhausting. It is exhausting that it's so that's one of the things. So then I wanted to talk about immigration. And of course, someone wants to mansplain to me about immigration, but has no clue what this individual is talking about. No clue, right? I want to talk about the one big barbaric bill, right? And I wanted to talk about, its impact in real time. We learned just last night about our dear friend Sonny's husband dying. And it's literally because of the one big barbaric bill, right? I can trace it back. And I'm so tired. I'm exhausted. I am worn out by the mediocre men that cannot resist commenting on something they know nothing about, and they're only regurgitating a talking point that they have had, that they have heard once in their fucking lives, or on repeat from the same people that they listen to all the time. I'm so tired. It's just absolutely nauseating, and it's frustrating. So, yes, Cam, they want to be experts on every topic. Every topic. I had a dude reply to me today about Muslims and Islam and how Islam calls for the death of anyone that doesn't believe. That is a scripture taken out of context. And by the way, there's a scripture that says Jesus says, "Hey, bring them before me and kill them in front of me." like like if we want to talk tit for tat, like literally, but the practice of Islam literally says Muslims are prohibited from judging anybody else for their faith, for their actions, or whatever their final judgment is going to be in this life. Islam literally prohibits that. And it's absolutely astounding to me. What's up, New Real Mama? Hey, Amanda. The number of men that just cannot stop opening their mouths and letting stupidity and ignorance come flying out. And typically, very confidently, loudly, and wrong as fuck. And it's just, exhausting. What's up, Jen? Hey, Taryn. So, all of the topics that I'm going to talk about today, I'm still going to talk about. But I just need this sentiment front and center because it is literally how I'm feeling in my soul today. What's up, Rebel? So hopefully everyone is well and safe and all of the things. We've got massive storms happening across the East Coast of the country in about 4 or 5 different states. So we had really strong winds and had to take all of our patio furniture and everything off of the balcony. And we still have rain and everything, but we are okay. So and our warning has gone now, so we should be okay. What's up, Michi? So let me just say this: if you are watching me anywhere other than TikTok, you have to speak in order for me to see you and know that you're in here. So if you want to chat, then I will happily chat you back. Carla, I got you. I'm going to mail yours out tomorrow. Yeah, Jenya, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's the trust me, bro proof, right? This is why I put this here. And if you guys could have seen, me searching for an image of a man to use, I put confused man. And it didn't give me exactly what I wanted. I put in dumb man. and it didn't give me exactly what I wanted. I put in ignorant man. I put in so many different things trying to get the expression that I wanted to represent. And this was as close as I could. I put in proud man. I put in smug man. I did. And it was I put in bro all by itself, and you don't even want to know what it came up with then. I put in all of those things. And so I just finally picked this one, and I don't even know what I typed in to get him. I don't even know what I typed in to get him. And it's exhausting. And then people want to act like women are men haters. I'm not a man hater. I love men. I just don't love mediocre, willfully, woefully, dedicatedly. I don't even know if that's a word, but they are committed to the ignorance. Those are the people that I'm just so over you, bro. I'm so over you. And I'm so over the men who seem to think that what's happening in the world is funny. Like you're literally laughing on news articles and you're laughing on reports of people dying. Like you think it's a fucking joke. It's wild to me. And I don't know if this is everyone else's experience, but I will tell you, for anyone that wants to ask me, why is the dude in my picture white? That's because that's the majority of the people that come at me. It's very few black men do I see coming at me with this fuckery. I'm just saying. So, this is based on my experience, not a prejudice. Good morning, Marilyn. Hola, AJ. Yes, Joanne, the fuckery. And so, this is why we say it is time for the matriarchy. Oh, I'm exhausted, Joanne. Exhausted over this. I'm so over it. I really believe that it is these men that are the reason I need caffeine every day. I really do. You all are the reason that when I get off my live or I finish checking my social media, I need to sit down and I want to take a nap. You literally drain me of everything for the moment. Right, Amy, why you need wine on the weekend? It's absolutely crazy. Whew. Here's what's so So one of my friends from Atlanta came in town for the games. So if you all know and so March Madness is here, and she came up around the Charlotte area for the games, and so I traveled a little ways to meet her one night so that we could hang out and have a drink. Because I hadn't seen her in a minute, right? So I was like, okay. And I told my daughter, I said, you got to take the kids. I'm going to drive over to Charlotte and I'm going to spend some time with her and see her. So we did, and we were talking, and I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just gonna throw on like some leggings and a flowy shirt and some shoes. And she was like, girl, me too. And I was like, because I'm not really trying to check. I'm not really trying to catch anybody. Like, I don't really care if anybody looks at me and goes, oh, she's cute, right? I am like, I don't like, I said, I have literally just given up. I have given up on there being someone that not only has done the intellectual um oof, the intellectual digestion of knowledge that is necessary to facilitate and properly manage all of the events of these days, but also having done the emotional unpacking and shadow work that is necessary to be a pretty decent, solid ass human being. And I have no desire anymore to fix some man that his mama and the 5 women before didn't do. I just don't. I just don't. Yeah, this is the problem within the Democratic Party. I keep saying this, you all. Just because someone is a Democrat doesn't mean that they're not still sexist. It doesn't mean that they're not still racist. It doesn't mean they're not still ableist. It doesn't mean that they're not still whatever. Like, it doesn't mean those things. I know men who really believe that they are progressive, and yet the stuff that comes out of their mouths, I'm like, what? Did you just ask what she was wearing, sir? Is that really a thing? Did you just really say, oh, like, what? It's just astounding. Oh, yeah, I love that, Kimmy. Yeah, no, Joey, the word is not complicated. No, no. Let's not use complexities, right, as an excuse for being lazy and unwilling to do your own work. I don't know. I didn't do anything. Hey, Michelle, what's up? Bella, what do you need? Because that's loud. What? I need you to use volume. What do you need? What are you asking me? Of course. So here's my thing. Is my volume back? I didn't do anything to the volume, folks. I didn't do anything. I didn't touch anything. Guys, am I still muffled? You can hear me just fine? Okay, cool. Um, okay, great. So, okay, good. I think the thing that bothers me when he said miss, somebody in the TikTok comment said miss, the word is complicated. No, it's not complicated. It is not complicated at all. It's I mean, human beings are complex, right? Human beings are complex, but that doesn't mean that you can't do the work that is necessary to become a whole ass individual that is healthy, right? Um, and so that's the place where I am at. Okay. So, and on that note, folks, I am going to just yeah, Amy, it is absolutely a choice. And let me be clear, there are women who also make this choice, but far fewer of those exist than men. Like, I really do believe it's part of the problem that we have with our corporations, right? So follow me, you all. I believe one of the things that we have done with men by having men believe that their identity and their value is wrapped in their position or the amount of money that they make, right? What we have done is and then, like, listen, what we have done is, well, yeah, there's no accountability, right? But the thing about it is that you have to understand. So what we've done is we now have created a situation where that's the only way that they can feel validated. It's the only way that they feel worthy. It's the only way that they feel whatever. And that's part of a societal thing. And I have said this before. I feel bad for men that they are told that that's their own value. I also believe that once you reach a certain age, it is your responsibility to know that you are valuable no matter what, right? The same way that women are taught our only value is in our bodies or if we can have babies, right? And then we have to do our work to learn our own self-worth and our own value, is the same way that men who are taught that their only value is in the job that they do and the money that they make, you need to do the same damn work. You need to do the same work. You know, some of y'all walking around talking about, well, all women want is our money. Well, some of you, that's all you have to offer. Like, if that's all you have to offer, if you're not offering me emotional intelligence, if you're not offering me emotional responsibility, if I got to do all the fucking heavy lifting to be able to communicate, you owe me a check. Good morning, Letty. You need, if I'm busy being your coach and your therapist all day, every day, I'm doing a job and you need to pay me. I'm just saying. So, yeah, for real. And but it's this thing that not too many men actually do. What's up, Jay Nice? It is wild to me. Do you know the saddest thing that I've ever seen? Because I've dated a couple of really affluent males, right? And the saddest thing that I have seen is them not know their own value. It's the saddest thing that I've ever seen. I had a man say to me one time, he was in his 40s, when he lost a job for the very first time he'd ever been fired. And he was like one of the youngest general managers in a particular corporation that's worldwide, right? And when he lost that position, we were like, I was there visiting and I was like, so when are we going to do whatever? And he was like, I don't know. I don't know anything right now. All I know is that if I don't work, I don't deserve to eat. What? Did you just utter the words, if I don't work, I don't deserve to eat? Not, I'm not going to be able to eat, but I don't deserve to eat. When so much of your identity is tied up into work and how much money you make, that is sad. That you don't know that simply by your existence, you deserve to eat. Simply just being born, being alive, you deserve to eat. And I've seen that, right? It's just, what's up? Okay, you can tell me. But the thing about it is that here's what's important, okay? And so the same way that I can say as a woman that society teaches women from very early on that our looks, our bodies, and our ability to reproduce is what determines our value, is the same way that they tell men that their work, their position, title, and the money that they make is what determines their value, right? So here's what I would say to men, right? I hear you. I know that society sets you up to fail in many regards. And at some point, as a grown ass human being, it's your responsibility to do your work the same way it is for women. Good morning, Deb. It's your responsibility. So yeah, I'm tired of the whole trust me, bro. What, you want a source for the thing that I'm claiming? Well, I heard it. What purpose would a man serve in my life, and what purpose would I desire to exist in his? So listen, anybody that is in my life in any role is an addition, right? Is an addition, and something that complements me. Okay. And so it's a very different concept. You know, people think it's bad when you say women say now they don't need a man. If men understood that that is a compliment, if a woman doesn't need you, that simply means that she is choosing you. And it is better to be wanted than to be needed. I'm going to say that again. If you are dating a woman that doesn't need you and then she chooses you, that means that she wants you. And it is better to be wanted than to be needed. But men like to feel needed. Men like to feel needed because that's where they find their value. They don't understand just to be chosen. It is a compliment. It is. So here's my thing, Jay Renee. When you say it's not often said in a compliment, what you're talking about is when it is typically in the middle of an argument or a dispute, and a woman says, I don't need you. That's different. That is different. I did answer the question. I did answer the question. The purpose is to be a compliment. I did answer your question. Folks, Cindy put a superfan box up here. So if you want to become a subscriber / superfan, you just grab the box. So maybe you weren't listening, or maybe you thought that my answer needed to be a certain way, but I answered you just fine. He said, what purpose would a man play in your life, and what purpose would you want to have in his life? And I said, as a compliment. As a compliment to a whole human being that already exists. Yeah, that's it. I don't have any holes or gaps that I need someone to fix. I'm not going to put that expectation on anybody else. It is not somebody else's responsibility to complete me. Yeah. And I'm sure as fuck not trying to complete nobody else. I need you to be whole. Now, you might have some wrinkles. You might have a little dent. You might have a little nick and some crannies, but I need you to be whole. Not perfect, but whole. And the biggest thing that I see lacking is emotional intelligence and emotional responsibility. What I see most people walking around dealing in is their emotional trauma. That's what I see. So I'm just saying. Alaikum salam, Muhammad. Yeah. Those things are not my responsibility. But specifically, I'm not even talking about within regard to relationships. I'm literally talking about within everything that we are dealing with in the world. Right, Carlos, whole enough to at least be doing the emotional work necessary. Yes. And here's the thing, right? Emotional work is a lifelong journey because it changes and shifts and shapes as you grow, right? It changes. That's the journey is never ending. And the key is you're not always going to be here's the thing. I look at relationships like a seesaw, right? I look at relationships. Have you ever been on a teeter-totter, a seesaw on the playground? It takes both people to have an enjoyable ride, right? And not everybody's going to be up all the time and not everybody's going to be down all the time. Right? So that's how I imagine a relationship. Now, having said that, if those people, to me, a relationship is a seesaw. A relationship is a seesaw. Now, listen, while it takes two people for that ride, both of those people can get off that seesaw, go grab a swing, and go as high as they want to by themselves. Either one, either individual person can get off the seesaw and as a whole ass person get on a swing and go as high as they want by themselves. They don't have to get on the seesaw. But if they get on the seesaw, then you understand that it is a two-person ride. It's a two-person experience. It's a two-person piece of equipment that requires teamwork. Good morning, Nikki. Right? And so for me, like right now, listen, I am not going to be the person that's like, okay, push a little harder. Come on, push a little harder. Like I'm only going to do that so many times. Right. You got to be around the same weight class. Right? Yeah. So it's that. And for me, I'm just going to tell you all, this is my personal view on this. I want someone that is whole without being dependent on anything outside of themselves. So for me, there's a difference between religion and spirituality. To me, those two things are different. Okay? And there are many religions that teach that God is outside of you, right? My particular faith, I know that God is in me all the time. Okay? And so for me, I want someone who is whole that doesn't need something external to complete them. Just saying. I think both, Carlos, I think most of them have value. He says a joint effort is the most beautiful effort in his opinion. And I hear you. I also think that the person who chooses the swing and never wants to be on a seesaw, I believe all of their effort is also beautiful. Right. Patriarchy created a gender. Yes, exactly. 100%. Like, it's just really important for people to understand. You know, it's one of those things where I've heard people say women can't get married without men because men have to choose you. Hella, Raja. Listen, she has to choose you back. This idea that I see women more celebrated for becoming a fiance than for becoming the CEO of their own successful business. I see women more celebrated for becoming a fiance than getting their master's degree. It's the craziest thing in this world that we have built a society that says this makes you of value. When people say, oh, I want to be a wife, what does that mean and why? You want a label. What does that label mean to you? What have you been taught that label means to you? Right? I don't know. What does that mean? You want to be a wife. All right, Christine, have a good one. Brain Candy says that means they've been commercialized. It's just, it's wild, the standards that we have allowed society to set. It's just, it's astounding to me. Good morning, Wasim. So just for a moment, before I get into all of the things that I want to talk about today, I am going to, I want to play something for you guys. So how many of you all, because if you've been with me on Facebook for a really long time, I know you know this, but how many of you all know that I used to write and spit poetry all the time? How many of you all know that I used to write and spit poetry a ton? Okay. Yeah, like I competed on with teams and all of those types of things. And so I love spoken word, right? I love it. And because it is such a great tool for communication and expression and whatever, right? And so like my friend Blues, he's yeah, so my friend Blues, he's won Emmys and all kinds of things, and he's absolutely incredible. You know, like I said, I used to be it's the same as here, Brain Candy. It's the Dani Cook. And so anyway, so I was scrolling yesterday and heard a clip. Okay, Doug, I haven't forgotten to call you, but I need to tell you something because of some stuff that happened. Yes, there is. So let me just tell you this. So I was scrolling and ran across a this piece of poetry that this woman was spitting, and it's gonna be a couple of minutes, but I want you all to listen to it because it's totally worth it. And this one is for the women. This one is for the women. So men, one day I'll get something to play for you all, but today this one is for the women. Okay, so for all the women, this is for you, and this is by Georgie Jones. That's her name. Georgie, like the state of Georgia, but the A is an E on the end, _ Jones with a Z on the end. So I'm going to let you all hear this. Listen to this. I freaking love this piece so much. I'm excited just to hear it again. And yes, if you want to stay up to date on everything that we're doing, please join the Discord. Hold on. I have it muted still. All right, you guys ready? You want to hear it? Here it goes. All right, here we go. Why did it do that? Hold on. Hold on. I'm going to have to restart it.
I'm in love with every single woman I've ever met. And also every single woman I haven't even yet, and every woman I likely never will. So when this fella
says, can you guys hear it? I think I need to share it.
Like other girls, smirking like he's just unwrapped a prize, like he's just handed me the compliment of the century. I actually want to scream, excuse me. All I have ever wanted to be is like other girls. I want to wing my eyeliner like other girls. I want to drink iced matcha like other girls. And I want to know when I really want to dip my toe in the ritual and when I actually crave the taste. And I want to lean against a bar in a silk dress and press red lipstick onto a napkin like other girls. And I want to do my makeup on a moving train. Let the vibrations rattle my mascara into place, and I want to show my belly like other girls. Even on the days it trembles with doubt, I want jeans swung low around my hip bones, and I want to have soft hands like other girls. Stack my fingers with silver rings, and I want to not lose them down the sink or at the bottom of a tote bag filled with unfinished snacks and receipts. And I want to check my notes like other girls. I want to be like the girls who balance their phone, keys, wallet, meal deal, coffee, and an existential crisis all in the palm of one hand. Like the ones who say, sorry, and mean, can you get out of my way? And the ones who say, oh, sorry, I mean, the weight of the world is resting on my shoulders and I think I might be holding it wrong. I want a morning routine like other girls, with serums and intentions and at least 10 steps, and I really want to know what toner does. I want to smell like something warm and expensive, like cedar, like vanilla, like other girls who wear their jumpers really loose and long, who look like they just rolled out of bed like that and still look perfect. I want to be like the girls who know when the moon is new without checking. Oh, I love you lot.
I love you a lot.
And I want to be like the girls who can spot a lie like a storm on the horizon, notice everything, say nothing, carry rage in their pockets like a hip flask full of fire. My love for women is full-blown devotion. For the way they walk home with keys between their knuckles, and then smile at the man on the corner, understanding sometimes safety is performance, for the way they get up, even when the headlines say this world is still not made for them. For the way for the way they share everything without ceremony. Hair ties, tampons, taxis, beds, for the way they send voice notes like epic poems and name all of their plants and all of their fears and run their tongue across their teeth before saying something brave. And I love the girls who bite their nails and the ones who wear them long and lacquered and then just like on it. Oh, I love that. And lovely band, if we just bring it down a tiny bit, well, I tell you this. If there is another life, I would choose this all again. To be a woman among women for the sheer wonder of loving them. Love ya.
So I absolutely, when I heard this, I was just like, so her name is Georgie. So like Georgia, but instead of the A on the end, the E, and then the underscore, and then Jones, but the S is a Z. So Georgie Jones. And I knew that I wanted to play this for you guys yesterday. Because it's so good. It's all the things that, so every woman that I know has felt some of that at some point, right? We've all wanted to be like other girls at some point in some way. It just says to be like other girls. Hold on a second. To be a woman among women. And that's just what it says. But that's her name. Her name is Georgie Jones. And yeah, it's amazing. I'll put the link to this in my Discord for you guys. Okay. I will put the link in the general chat. Yes, it was sweetly powerful, right? And it's so good. And there is something like, there's nothing like women supporting other women. It's just incredible. It's just incredible. And it's really one of the reasons why we are reaching this place in life where, yes, it's powerful, Conchita. Yes, it is powerful. And we are always being pushed to compete. Women are always being pushed to compete. What's going to be in all of the magazines today? Who wore it best? And they're going to pull pictures of women from the Oscars last night, and they're going to pull pictures of other women that have worn that same dress. And then they're going to ask you who wore it best. And they're going to pick the best dressed woman, and they're going to pick the worst dressed woman, and they're going to pick the girl that was the tackiest, and their girl that was the this, and the girl that was the that. They are forever pitting women against women. Just saying. So, yeah. And let me just say this, for the men that are coming in and commenting negatively in the chat, you're who the fuck I'm talking about, bro. Like, you literally just should have come in and say, that's me, right? Because hit dogs holler. Right, Amanda, so that we will all compete for the mediocre men. Hey, Zoe. You know what I mean? It's just crazy. A dude came in and said, can you imagine having to listen to her voice every day? Well, you have a fucking choice, and here you are. Like, you're not even with me, and here you are. Right, bro? Like, you literally could have just kept fucking scrolling. But that Dani derangement syndrome gets you every time. Y'all complain about me all day long, and yet you mediocre men come in here every day, day after day after day. You follow me into other people's lives. You follow me into other people's lives. That is how much the Dani derangement syndrome has got a hold of you. They did. They followed me into T-Dub's live yesterday. Bison showed up. I was like, look at you. You can't tell me you don't want to be a progressive populist. If you are following me every day, you have a secret desire to convert. And the cure for your Dani derangement syndrome is just to go ahead and just go ahead. It's wild. Y'all get that, right? It's absolutely astounding. Yeah, just embrace it. Don't fight it anymore. Just come on. What's up, Elle? How are you?
Hey, thank you for yesterday. I thought we would do a quick debrief. We don't have to spend too much time, but yeah, that was that was something. I don't know what it was, but it was a thing.
Yeah, it was something yesterday, wasn't it? And it was crazy when you said I practice constitutional law. And he still thought he could tell you about the Constitution.
And I even offered, like, with in no uncertain terms, to host him to have this discussion. I invited him to, and then it became that we were emotional, and then our fifis when he was the one whining about it. So listen, we kept it as cute as we could, as long as we could, but I don't like to honestly keep it cute at all if I don't have to.
Right.
That was some fucked shit, and it was completely disrespectful, but it wasn't my place or my room to be, putting down the hand the way that I would have liked to. But thank you for just making it.
Well, what was astounding, so I got an apology, not from Smokey, of course, but I got yeah. And here's what it said. I didn't expect for him to come for you like that, and I was just shocked. My whole point is, yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, because guess what? It's you are the host.
Right.
You are the host, and it's your responsibility. If you invite someone, if you ask someone to come to your panel, it is your responsibility to ensure that your panel is done respectfully and you manage anybody that's overstepping their whatever. So for those of you guys who don't know what occurred, and I was literally just talking about a multitude of different things. But yesterday I joined T-Dub's special. I joined his live on TikTok. He'd actually sent me an invite and asked me to join. Go ahead, Elle. You wanted to say something?
I want to add, and I absolutely agree. You know, it's the host's responsibility to be aware of who they're inviting in and really to push the conversation in whichever direction it needs to go or not go in. It's a particularly weird spot for a moderator because, you know, I respect the host, but I also had the utmost amount of respect for the panel and really everybody in the room listening and sharing ideas. Like, it was one of the most productive conversations I've ever experienced. So, like, I just want to say this out loud. I didn't want to temper the mood or, you know, just put my own, I didn't want to inflict my will upon anybody else. But that being said, it's a weird spot because, like, I wanted to shut it down well before it got super out of control.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just want to mention, like, it was a weird predicament to be in. But I really appreciate everybody that stuck it out, and having this conversation feels like it's due and proper. So
yeah,
go ahead, please.
Yeah, no. So, you know, I was saying this, so this morning. So while I was there in this live yesterday, yeah, Elle was great. So there were a couple of moments where people said things that I made clarifications on, which you all know I am prone to do. So if you make a statement like a member of the panel did, a member of the panel made a comment about how the GOP had taken Christianity and made it to be so intolerant. And then he made the statement that, you know, there's nothing violent about Christianity and Christianity is a whatever religion. And I said, well, let me make a distinction because Christianity, just like every other religion, right, has things in its book that absolutely is violent, right? And alaikum salam. So I made that reference, and then it was there was a comment about Palestinians, and let me just say this: I don't care what room I'm in. I'm going to stand 10 toes down when you talk about Palestinians and Gaza. I am going to stand 10 toes the fuck down, and I'm going to put you in check. Because if you aren't talking with people that are in Gaza every day the way I am, if you are not having conversations, please don't speculate about what you think those people can or can't endure and what they will and won't do. And so that was another time that I kind of said, nope, it's ABCDXYZ, whatever. And then I took a moment, and TJ gave me the big screen, which I did not ask for, but TJ gave me the big screen. And so I took a moment to show and share Project for the People. Now, keep in mind, this was a panel of about 5 different people. So Elle was up there, I was up there, Ask My Advice, I don't know the name, but there's like 4 or 5 of us up there. And so we've been on there for about an hour and a half, 2 hours maybe. And somebody joined the panel named Smokey, who I'm not familiar with at all. And everybody was like, oh, yay, Smokey's here. Smokey knows a lot about, you know, the Constitution and whatever. And hey, Patricia. And so when Smokey came up, he said something, and I can't even remember what he said at the beginning, but he said something that was in reference to me. And I went, he asked a question.
He was asking you if it was more important to change the Constitution or to keep it intact, something along
those lines. But when I went to answer him, he kept speaking over me. So I just then got quiet. And then he wanted to pop quiz everybody in the room. What's the amendments that allow you to vote? What's the amendment? And so Elle and I were answering him in the chat, right? But he wasn't watching the chat. He was too busy wanting to show everybody what he knows. And so when he kept cutting me off, and then he literally said, well, I've sat here and I've listened to you for 90 minutes. You've had 90 minutes to speak, and I'm going to speak. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Because I don't know him. And he just kept going and going and going and going and wanted to talk about reading the Constitution and show me where the Constitution says gender. Show me where the Constitution says this. And this is my thing. Reading the Constitution from an educational perspective is great. People do it in law school and in college all the time, right? Seeing the Constitution in legal practice in a courtroom is very different. And I think Elle can speak to that.
Well, yeah, and he wanted to grill me on like my specific views of constitutional law and the Constitution as it is like dwindling to pieces today. He wanted to have a discussion. It was not a good faith conversation, and he also wanted to push me to have a conversation where he could back me into a corner and get me to say something definitively one way or another. And I'm never going to come to a conversation unprepared, without, at least to the best of my ability, without notes, ideas, organization.
Yeah.
And I'm certainly not going to be told by some man that thinks he's going to be dictating how somebody else's life goes that I am obligated to answer him, and that I'm obligated to behave by whatever metrics he needed me to behave under.
Yes.
And the irony is that when he came in, I was the one, and I own this. I said, here's Smokey. He's very knowledgeable. He studied the Constitution. He knows a lot of things. I gave him some advanced compliments and said, everybody listen to him. It's nice to have him here.
Mm-hmm.
And then like at first my like spidey senses went off when he was disrespectful to Dani. Then even after that just, you know, propping him up when he came in, I thought that would pad his ego enough for him to be respectful.
Yeah.
He was continually disrespectful to both of us.
Yep.
Zero acknowledgement for the fact that, you know, I tried to bring him in under different auspices than his being there. So I'll leave it at that. I'm trying to pick my language here.
Yeah, I know. It was wild to see. And so you all know me, the way that when I'm in somebody else's space, it's not my space. To me, I felt like when there were people in the comments that were saying, T-Dubs, you need to step in, and he still wasn't addressing it, I was like, okay, so I just need to remove myself from the situation. Hey, Bilal. So yeah, Elle was very diplomatic about it. So what I did was I just said, you know, hey, Gloria Green. So I just said, hey, T-Dubs, let me just say this to you. I appreciate you inviting me. It was a great conversation. Obviously, for whatever reason, Smokey is upset with me, right? He appears to have an issue with how long I've been on your panel or how much I've had to talk. He's even timed how long I've been up here. And so he seems to have a problem with me. And since this is your space, I'm just going to bow out. I'm going to let Smokey have his time to shine because apparently that's what he needs. And I'm just going to go and I'll talk to you at another time. And so I dipped. I just bounced because it's not, here's my thing.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's not my thing.
Very impactful.
Yeah.
Very impactful.
Yeah, it was very wild, Shantae. It was very wild. And the thing that I don't think that he gets is everything that he was talking about isn't relevant for immediate measures. We need immediate solutions.
And we were asking him, instead of inserting himself into the discussion where he didn't come in good faith, instead of just asserting his will, we were asking him to provide us with potential solutions or how he thinks we should act, instead of telling us what he thinks to be true, which is his subjective truth, which is not fact. And, you know, I do want to mention this too. So I see in here, we have VJ, and I see that we have Sin in here, and I see some of your mod staff. And like, I'll be honest, your people were in the comments holding the room together and holding it down and like pushing the conversation in the right place. And I just want to make sure they get their flowers, because they absolutely, like, again, this was a very progressive, very productive conversation. And without your people in there, it may not have continued to go that way. Your people all deserve to absolutely be applauded for just keeping it real, keeping it together, and just standing for really what's right and having your back.
Yeah,
so
they are fantastic. I have the best followers and subscribers on this app.
Period.
Yeah, hands down. They don't play. And all I did, Elle, was I literally went into my Discord and I said, at everyone, I said, T-Dubs has, invited me to his panel at 2:30. come in if you want to check it out. You know what I mean? And so I just left it open. And of course, this is what happens. Like they will do that. It's just like tomorrow. They do, but it's not just, so check it out. It's not just me. They are that way over each other at Christmas time. In addition to the work that they do in terms of taking care of our friends in Pali, right?
Yes.
Sandy organized an angel tree within our Discord for our followers.
Amazing.
We had 4 families that we did when it was time for me to move and I was getting a bigger place and my grandbabies are with me. They were like, make a wish list for the grandbabies, right?
It's amazing.
That's the kind of stuff that they do.
As it should be. And that's really, to me, like community is not just occasionally dropping in somebody's life and, you know, sending them like a couple roses. Community is really like, it's what you do. It's how you show up for people. It's not even who you are. It's what you do and how you show up. It's not to be a community, you shouldn't be looking in a mirror and seeing yourself. You should see who you are and all the people behind you and how you are as a collective.
Yep.
And I know I came in here just kind of like, I got an invite actually, I think it was from Sandy, came in, and even you being willing to have me like come and kind of debrief after this, I appreciate being allowed to be a part of the family and being able to have the conversation. Like, just, it's so welcoming and it's so encouraging to know that people like yourself and people like your team are literally out here, boots on the ground, doing the work that so many other people just want to talk about and not be about. So I don't know. I really appreciate all of you. And I absolutely hope to continue to be around as much as possible, as much as you'll have me.
Yeah. I mean, you're welcome anytime. That's one of the things that I will say about this community. We're very open and we're very welcoming. And we are protective of our space. So like people have joked about, because I have 2 sides to my Discord. I have a side that's for everybody that they can join. And then I have another side that is for subscribers. And there are people that have come into my Discord and they're like, damn, Dani, I
can't see everything.
No, they've even said, how do I get verified to get in? Because there's like a step process that you have to go through. You just have to follow the prompts. There's even like little videos that show people you just got to hang in there and get it done. And Cam is the one who helps people who get stuck. But it's just, unless we already like know you, and we're just like, I know that you're requesting, then I'll be like, Cam, go ahead and just get somebody in. But that's because we are protective of our space in this community. So we have a channel in my Discord that I love. So do you know who Simon Sinek is?
I do. Yes.
Okay. So I love him. And you may have heard him share this story. So he was saying that he had a friend of his one day and he saw her and he was like, hey, how you doing? And she was like, well, I'm better now, but I was going through a really rough spot, 2 weeks ago and da, 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 da. And he was like, wait a minute, you were going through a rough spot. Why didn't you tell me? And she was like, I did. And he was like, no, you didn't. She was like, I text you. Right. And so he pulls out his phone and scrolls back and he says, you mean this text that just says, hey, what are you doing tonight? He said, like that text that sounds like every other text you've ever sent me. He said, that was you reaching out for help. And she said, well, yeah. And he said, no. And so there was this study that says that if somebody is going through something, all they need is 8 minutes with someone else. They don't even have to talk, but just being supported with someone for 8 minutes is enough to get them through the really like that anxious, that really upset moment. Right. And so they now have a signal set up. And whenever either one of them is in distress or they need support or they need to talk or they just need someone to be in community with them, they'll send each other a text and it just says, do you have 8 minutes?
That is amazing.
That is amazing. Yeah. So that's the key. So in my Discord, we have it set up to, there's an 8-minute channel and people in my Discord can go in there and literally say, hey, anybody got 8 minutes? And it'll tag everyone. And then somebody can come in and they can either stay in that room or they can go into one of these sub rooms and they can go voice if they want to, or they can do whatever. And so it's just really it's been amazing to see people be in community with each other and help each other out. And so we know
without judgment and like 24 hours a day, just like, and it doesn't, sometimes it's just knowing somebody's there who you can trust.
Yep.
And they don't even have to do a single thing other than being there. And so that's super important. And I think, you know, we're all out here like doing this work, and it's stressful work, and it's hard watching what's going on, like, you know, in our front yards and in the world. And I think it's so critical that you have that set up, because I don't think we check in with ourselves or our close friends as much as we should. You know, we kind of laugh off, oh, it's so stressful, I'm having a tough day.
Yeah.
But I don't think we really audit ourselves and listen to our inner voices enough. So this is a tool that allows people to do that check-in and almost like holds them accountable to check in with themselves. That is amazing.
Yep. And it's something that I love for us. And so whenever, if I get a text, and I've had people where I'll get a text and say, hey, do you need 8 minutes? Because I got 8 minutes if you need it. You know what I mean? It's just that place of saying, hey, you are supported, you know, and whether you talk about the thing that's the issue or not, it doesn't matter. But it's just about being. And so I have this thing, and it's going to sound however it sounds. So while we do need to make sure that we have voters and people that are properly informed, while we need that, what we need more than anything in this country and around the world is to connect with each other. We are so disconnected. And I think it is because, yes. So Amanda, the link that you have that's in the Discord, just open a new browser and then copy and paste that link into that browser, and then it'll work. But the thing about it is so here's the thing. I believe that if we simply get connected to each other and we create an understanding, it doesn't have to be an agreement, but just an understanding. When we understand each other, we are less likely to hurt each other.
Yes.
Right.
100%.
And so that's the basic bottom line of everything. And so disconnection and apathy is right. The disconnection is by design. The apathy is by design, right? It is 100%. And so Lanny, that's why when I wrote for the People Project, it's the second avenue, right, is communities and conversations. And so we've got to become connected within our communities and within our neighborhoods and with each other, because that's how we overcome all of this. And then we begin to say, oh, okay, now I get it. Sherry is in here.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, please. I apologize.
That's okay. So Sherry is in here. She'll probably say hi to you. When I met Sherry, she was MAGA. Sherry is she's in my live almost every day. She's had 2 really intense conversations with me. I've posted one of them. See, she just said hi.
Hey, Sherry.
The thing that I give her credit for every time is even when she's confronting the things that are, you know, we have a lot of things that we believed our whole lives. And when you first have to confront those things, it's difficult. It is challenging, but she has set in the uncomfortable places with me twice and really dug in to do the work. And I give her so much credit for that, because not everybody's willing to do that.
That's amazing. And you know, what's important, it's twofold. It's important that people like yourself continue to welcome people like Sherry in and have the conversation, instead of just doing like, you know, the ad hominem attacks, and you get that little dopamine hit from proving them wrong, whatever it may be. It's important that we have constructive discussion. But on top of that, it's also, I guess, it's important that people like, listen, I've spent 20 plus years deconstructing my own internal biases. Let's just say I've done sensitivity training, which is really not that useful once you actually talk to people and listen to people. Sensitivity training is nothing more than like just it's like an online course in like becoming like being able to marry an officiant. So it's really just a certificate. What actually matters is some of us who think that we know a lot and have a lot of life experience. Some of us need to, this is me I'm talking about, some of us need to shut up, listen, and hear other people's life experiences. And deconstructing and learning is about literally listening and also giving other people the room and the space to tell you who they are and why they are that way, so we can decide whether it makes sense to try and, you know, be a community with them, bring bring them over to our side, deconstruct them, or also alternatively, if we need to, sometimes I learn that I think I know a lot of things. I learned that I am very wrong in some of the things I think I know. And we need other people of differing opinions to keep us in check and call us on our bullshit too. You know?
100%.
So,
I mean, one of the biggest areas. So sometimes people in the chat, they will get frustrated because they'll be like, Dani, just boot them off. And I'm like, no, listen, you guys let me have the conversation. And what's really wild is they've gotten to the point, my chat has got to the point where they know and they can feel when the shift is about to come in that person. And it's such a great thing. You see Jay Bird talking about it. So one of the things, like when I have free workshops, okay, and I invite people in and we talk about different things. So like we've done a workshop on FOIA requests and how to use them and how to make good necessary trouble in a way that is effective, right?
Yes.
We've also talked, we've also had one, and the one that people really love and really have asked for, again, I've done it twice, is how to have effective conversations with people who of opposing views. And sometimes we role play together and things like that. But so I have this mechanism. And so the acronym is CARV, C-A-R-V. No E on the end, just C-A-R-V. And I believe that if there are 4 things that you have to bring to every conversation, and if you bring those 4 things to every conversation, you will leave with connection and understanding, even if you don't have agreement. And it is compassion. Well, wait, watch me. I won't even tell you. So you see them in the comments, guys. Tell them what CARV stands for, you guys. Yep. Respect. Yep.
Vulnerability is the last one, I bet.
Yep, it is. And you see, I don't even have to say anything. You see how much they know it?
It's amazing. And listen, if this is a cult, this is the cult that I want to be in. And if you are our Svengali, then I absolutely co-sign, and I will be a member, a proud member. But this is amazing. This is the type of like cult-like behavior that, you know, we get made fun of and chastised by those that are on the outside. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, it's a cult that they wish that they had the capability of being a part of. And they don't usually have the emotional intelligence or the tools. So
my daughters, I'm laughing at you saying that because my daughters say a couple of times, my daughters have said, Mom, they are so lucky you're a good person because you could literally have a cult.
For real. Like, can you imagine? We use our powers. At least I'm a petty, punitive bitch. I'm going to say it like it is. I am. But when I am in front of people that should be,
okay, Shante,
that can form an impression or do, I don't know, they're capable of judgment or they're capable of being impressed upon, then I try and keep it cute. Yeah. But like at the end of the day, I don't know, I guess it's good that I'm using like my power and my, I don't know, all the things I have towards good things, because I would be much more duplicitous than the man in the office, the main man in the office, and all of his comrades. Yeah. I'd burn the whole thing down. I'd blame it on somebody else, and then I'd laugh in their faces and take all the resources and not apologize.
Yes.
I like to keep it cute though.
Yeah. So, and here's the thing. So like I'm over 50 and, yeah. And so for me, the journey to the place that I'm at now has been long, and it has been difficult, and it has been challenging, and it has been so worth it. It has been so worth it. And one of the biggest things I ever did was, because I used to say, listen, as sharp as this tongue is, like with information and facts, I used to just slice and dice people with it. I would just leave you in ruins, right?
You start to feel like shit at the end of the day. You don't feel like you accomplished anything. And being a person of empathy, you may get that dopamine hit, but ultimately, like, you care about how you left somebody else and the wounds that you gave somebody else.
Yeah.
I apologize for overspeaking.
No, you're good. And so that was the thing, is that, and I used to say, oh, you get from me what you give to me. But the reality is that's giving them every ounce of my power. It's giving them everything. And so for me, what I began to understand is I cannot build good things from bad soil, right? And so if the energy that I am putting out is negative, guess what the energy coming back to me is going to be? It's going to be negative. And so now I just sit in this position where I return to sender. If you listen, I'm going to tell you right now, if you come in my space or if you wake up and you want to send bad shit my way, I need you to understand I am in a protective bubble and your shit is coming right back to you. And sometimes karma comes quick. So I don't need to be your karma. You are your own karma. So, you know, it's
earned that right.
Yeah.
You have worked hard, earned that right, and become the person, the fully realized person that you are, and you have earned that right. Nobody else can take that from you, and nobody else can be that unless they've done the work too. And it's continued improvement. You know, you have to be open to, like I said, you know, taking the criticism, doing something productive with it, and also you have to be open to giving other people the criticism that when they do deserve it, and not be afraid of what may come from giving them that criticism.
Yeah,
you know,
100%. And that's the accountability that comes with it. Hold on a second, Mila. Don't fake cry. Come here and tell me. Don't fake cry though. I can hear you. Okay. Well, could you let her get her snack since she was over there first, and then you can get yours?
I even put them out here.
And I know.
I'm singing.
I know. It's okay. Okay.
You know, something to be said for, I think, being at the age that we are too. I think back to like even 10 years ago, but definitely 20, 25 years ago, I would have just rolled my eyes at the conversation that you and I are having now. And I would have been like, oh God, these feminists are just really, really annoying, you know, all the things. But like, I didn't realize, I guess, like what was at stake fully, because probably my prefrontal cortex was not fully developed, but also I didn't have a lot of life experience.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, there's a level of like, I guess, maturity and also like, I guess just life experience that allows us to,
even though I didn't read it.
Well, you know, I don't want to say too much, but ultimately, like, I appreciate exactly where we're at, being able to do this and doing it for the right reasons.
Yep.
And doing it because at the end of the day, we are empathetic. We have worked hard. We do know what's at stake.
Yep.
We don't use fear-mongering language, and we don't live in fear of other people. We stand in the truth, and we understand the work that needs to be done. Like, standing in a place of fear is absolutely crippling, and we all feel it every day. But that doesn't
There's a new one in you too.
doesn't mean that we are our fear.
Give me that one.
I guess the last part is ultimately just pinging on what you said. We cannot change what anybody else does. We cannot change their minds. All we can do is monitor how we react to that. The only thing we can do is choose how we receive their reaction. So, go ahead.
No, you're good. She's bringing me this up, but I'm hearing you. I'm listening. So here, everybody is telling you to, when this countdown goes off, Sandy gifted you a super fan, and
that's so awesome.
So when it gets to 0, you just need to grab it.
Thank you so much. I definitely will jump in the Discord too. Now that I have a super fan.
Did you fall? Okay. Did you get hurt? Show me where. Show me where. Oh, you caught yourself with your hands. Come here. Oh. Okay. Lay down. Okay. You're okay.
How old is she?
5. She just turned 5.
Going on 25.
Yeah, she just turned 5. Okay. I think the box is available for you.
Much. That's so awesome, Sandy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was so kind. That is amazing.
She is. Okay. Yeah. No, she tripped and fell down, y'all, and needs a nap. She tripped.
Listen, I feel that in my heart. A nap and a snack and a bath.
Yeah. So let me tell you what. So this one right here, that one, everybody knows she's going to be my EGOT, because she can cry on cue. Listen, you just have no idea. Everything is dramatic. Everything. And so that's why sometimes you'll hear me say, okay, no fake crying. And then you'll see her stop because it was a fake cry. And I'm like, you don't need the fake cry for me to hear you. I'm paying attention.
Listen, I feel
Bella.
that type of personality deep in my soul. That sounds exactly like how I was at that age. So
Yeah.
I get that on a deep level. I have a quick. Oh wait, you didn't get it. Try again. I did get it though. I thought. Let me see. I thought I did. No.
I don't know. There's one up here. Type something in the chat
that.
because we can see if you have a super fan thing by your name.
Let's see.
Oh yeah, Bella will absolutely. So Bella is different. Does she have she doesn't have a super fan beside her name.
So the countdown's at 25. I'll pull it again at 20.
Yeah.
0 seconds.
Look, Sandy said she doesn't.
Okay.
Sandy is the super mod, by the way, just so you know. She keeps all of us together, especially me. Yeah. So now it says do it now and press the red button.
Okay.
See, they can help you.
Wait, you played it for by yourself? Maybe.
Superfan box is empty.
So which one are you from?
It said. I don't know.
Nope.
Yes.
Somebody else got it. Micah did. Somebody else just got it. I just saw it. It said Micah just became a super fan.
Somebody grabbed it. That's hilarious.
Yep, they did. So, yeah, somebody else will probably put one up there.
Here we go.
Yeah, but Linda, everybody has Dani if they're following or whatever. There's a different Dani beside it to be a super fan.
It has like double border kind of.
Yeah.
Is what best way to say it.
Yeah, it's different now.
Real quick, and this is kind of like an aside as a PSA, just for a side project that I'm doing, which is absolutely not even remotely as important as any of the work you're doing. But since we have a group of women in here,
yeah,
and like-minded people, I am currently developing an app for it's supposed to be mostly for women, with women in mind, let's say, based on reality TV outcomes. And I need a beta group just to test it out and play with it. So if anybody, this is probably the biggest group of women that I've been around for quite a while, is interested in playing with an app. There's literally no commitment. There's nothing financial other than like clicking through an app and playing around and giving suggestions. Let me know. I would love feedback. DM me and I will give you a beta invite. I would love feedback. If you are a reality TV junkie of any kind, I am a lot of things, but I am also a Bravo junkie. Shameful.
Wow. So listen, I just binge watched the last Love Is Blind so that I could watch the reunion show. And I was like, okay, so Chris is like, Chris was the Love Is Blind version of, do you remember Love Island, Messy Mitch?
I do.
Okay, so Chris in the new Love Is Blind season 10, his ass is 100% messy Chris. He is, listen, it was so bad. Because let me tell you, so I'm normally like a true crime girl. And the other day, I had done such heavy lifting on here. I got done and I was like, okay, I've just got to binge some shit that doesn't matter in my life. And so that's what I did. I binged all of the Love Island so that I could watch Love Is Blind so that I could, did you get this up? Oh, it's down to 40 seconds so that I could watch the reunion. And it was so bad at the reunion that, baby, will you give me a paper towel? It was so bad at the reunion that Nick said to Chris, he said, Chris, you've managed to do something in 10 years that no one on this show has ever done. He said, you managed to make all of the men and all of the women pissed off.
And that takes a lot of work based on the previous seasons, especially some of the early ones.
Yeah. Would you like for me to get something? Because I can do that. Yeah. Can you put this stuff back in the pantry and in the sink for me? Because I had to.
I have super fan status.
Look at that. We love it. This goes in the trash. This goes in the sink. That's all I want. Thank you. Elle got it now. Yep. There you go. Perfect. Yep. So you're in.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, so that is hilarious. listen, the fact that you sat through Love is Blind is a commitment to absolute trash TV, because then it's devolved into the trash of trash.
It was decent this time. I think they cleaned it up.
I agree. Like it got pretty off course for a very long time. Somebody in the comments asked what reality TV outcomes means. So basically, take for example, the one that we just added was the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. So Dakota and Taylor get back together, bet yes or no, and then it's like betting. Betting is kind of the format, or like buying shares,
like the odds.
Odds, and you eventually we're going to do digital currency, and we want to have it be actual live betting, but there's so much like legal shit that we have to do in order to apply real money to it. So for now, it's like rewards or shares of rewards that we're giving people. Like if we give you in the beta, we give you 100 credits, you can use those 100 credits to make whatever types of bets you want, or use it, if you want to use it all on one bet. If we have predetermined betting items, let's say contracts is probably the best way to say it, you can use it towards a predetermined betting contract, or you can customize and say, are the Real Housewives of New Jersey going to come back? Customize, or is Beyonce going to go on tour? You can create your own.
Gotcha.
Ultimately, the prize, and when you win, you're going to win rewards that are good for like a gift card or just any number of things. We're working on that stuff. That's the type of stuff we need feedback on. But at this point, we wanted to make a space in an app where women could, number one, not feel shame for watching these types of shows. So the most intelligent people watch some of the crappiest TV. We want to be able to let women have the space to do that without criticism. We also wanted to give women like a little bit, we're going to include some financial literacy stuff in there, and to give them an opportunity to look into a space where they may not normally understand how digital currency works, may not understand like really how these types of apps work, and there are a million betting apps for men. So we want to welcome people to learn and also play around, but not feel any sort of obligation or any sort of don't have any financial implications.
Right.
I guess if that makes sense. So yeah, that's it. Without going too much into it, and I can discuss it in Discord.
Yeah, that sounds awesome and amazing. So
we love feedback, but yeah, sorry about that.
No, they will absolutely give you feedback. So Boston, I sent you an invite to the panel, and I would love for you to come to have a respectful conversation. One of the things that often happens though in my spaces is there will be men like you that come in my space that will make comments, that will be invited to the panel, and for whatever reason you don't come, right? So I would love for you to actually come up to the panel, and then we can have a real conversation about your comment in the chat. He chatted.
Here, if he comes up, let me put on a different hat so he can feel more comfortable. Let me do this for him. This might help him. Let me grab this hat real quick. Here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Coming. Here, Boston, come on up. We would love to talk to you. If this makes you feel more comfortable, you can join right now.
There you go. See? There you go.
Come on.
Boston, are you able to join, Boston? Yeah, see, this is what normally happens. Is they normally don't come, and everybody knows it. We're just like, what the heck? And every now and again, we'll get somebody that will come on up and do the things and have a respectful conversation.
Very rarely, though. It's just keyboard warriors.
Yes, yeah, and for me, it's usually either keyboard warriors or bots, especially when it comes to like when we are discussing immigration, or when we are discussing what's happening in Palestine and between Palestine and Israel. So when we are discussing any of those things, and they come in and they say whatever they want to say, just whatever quick comment, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about that. If you believe that to be the case, then come on up. Let's talk about it. Because what we do, I ask for 4 things in this space. If you've noticed, it's on the top of my picture. And it says, be respectful, don't use slurs of any kind. 3, do not spam the comments. Number 4, don't type in all caps. And the reason is because all caps are reserved for my moderators and for my folks that are vision impaired. And as long as people can just follow those few ground rules, then we're fine. If they can't, then eventually they will get muted and booted. Now, Zach is being a pick me right now, right? And so what I would want Zach to know, what I would want to know from Zach is, what do you want to talk about, Zach? Yeah, I know, Carla, because so typically people who are like Zach that are like, oh, I want to come up. You'll love me. I want to come up. So typically those people, they aren't whatever. Yeah. Zach's being a pick me. So what I would like for Zach to do, well, no, Zach, I need you to be specific. Like, so you think that we debate here. We don't debate. You seem to be a debate me bro. Right? So I don't debate.
For me, it's like, it's the entitlement of seeing that there's 200 plus people here and centering himself to think that he needs to be an important part of the conversation or come up here and tell a whole bunch of people that are engaged in a conversation something different, right, without even reading the room.
Yes, 100%. It's wild. So like, here's the thing. So Zach, you're not interested in a good faith conversation. Therefore, I'm not interested in a conversation with you. I don't know if you understand that or not, right? You're not here for a good faith conversation. Why would I want to talk to you?
If you can't put it in the comments where you don't have to show your face or use your voice, then you probably are not likely to be able to be up here to say anything of substance. And that's what it is.
Yeah, no value to add. Hola, Mr. Barrios. Yeah, Amy, he does seem, he does seem triggered by the background.
And Zach, here's the thing, and anybody else, like whatever derogatory, nasty thing or insult you want to come up here with, we've all heard it a million times over. And we probably in certain rooms call each other the same thing jokingly, whether we should or not is another thing. But like, you're not going to tell us anything or insult us any other way we haven't already insulted each other or heard. So
yeah, bro.
Nothing novel here.
Listen, I've heard it all, especially on this app, but throughout all of the years. Yeah. So
absolutely. And the last thing I definitely wanted to just make sure that I mentioned to you, I really appreciate you just elaborating on the talking points that I was talking on yesterday with respect to anti-Semitism and understanding the difference between, the ZOs here, the ZOs there, and also the work that you do for the Pali people, because it's so important. And there are a lot of people on this app that pretend, or they actually contend to know a lot about ZOs and the J religion quite a bit, and all that they're doing is using really like buzzwords and talking points without understanding the real reality of what's going on.
Yeah.
And it's for clicks, it's for gifts that they use their voices.
Yep.
They don't understand that a lot of the things that they're saying are ultimately much more hurtful and much more damaging than the things that they think that they're doing. So what you're doing is actually bringing people in here, showing them the love, and explaining from a political, not an emotional place, exactly what's going on. And we need more people like you. It's so meaningful and it's so important. And if people can't have the conversations, the rough conversations, and look at the actual images of what's going on, then they're not ready. But we are always here when they are ready.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, so like one of the things that the other day, like I said, people were very like upset. Well, Bella, how much charge do you have, sis?
Oh, it's this Zach. We know each other.
Oh, do you? I don't know that, Zach.
He knows me, but I don't. He's
so did you bring him, L?
No, I certainly do not follow him. But
no, I'm saying he might have followed you in here.
Maybe. I have a couple fans like that.
Yeah, I have some. They came into T-Dubs yesterday. But here's the thing. So people got upset with me because I have challenged people. If you cannot accept criticism of your country, of your political party, or of a particular politician. You are a nationalist, not a patriot, and they are not the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And so one of the things that I've shared with people is, in order to understand how Iran feels about the United States of America, or how they feel about the British, you would have to know the history of Iran. And too many people thinks that it starts in 1979, and it doesn't, right? Now, what we could talk about is in 1967, where, Israel, bombed and unalived soldiers on the USS Liberty. We could do that, right? But the very first people to interfere, hey, Michael, the very first people to interfere in Iran's democracy was the United States of America and the British.
Yep, exactly.
That was it, right? So, Zach, here's what I'm going to do, Zach, because
he's a Zio. He's a straight up Zio.
And I'm okay with that. He can be whatever he wants to be. Zach, this is what I'm going to share with you. So you're going to need to be able to follow the guidelines in this space if you want to be able to participate, Zach. So you got me, girl. I almost called him. So I literally had to catch myself.
I would have stopped you.
Yeah. So Zach, you understand? Yeah. Okay. So when I first bring you up, please do me a favor and put yourself on mute. Oh, yeah, Gigi. Absolutely.
Here's what's important, Zach. So before you come up, listen to this. So a lot of this conversation is going to be uncomfortable because we're not going to turn our backs on the fact that a lot of what's going on in the world right now, it doesn't just stem back to the blueprint from 1930s Germany, but it goes back even further to Jim Crow. So if you're not ready to hear about the roots of what got us here and how we got here and what's really going on, and really what other absolutely terrible, I hate to say regimes, periods of time that we are replicating. If you're not ready for that conversation, then you can just respectfully go pound salt and go bother somebody else since you have nothing better to do. But if you're ready to have that combo, let's do it, buddy.
Yeah, I got you. So he never listens but loves being platformed. So y'all know the way that I do this, okay? So let me just tell you, Zach, as far as I know, has never been on my panel, okay? And as long as Zach can maintain his composure, be respectful, not use slurs, and that, then we can have a respectful, facts-based conversation. So Zach, that will be the one thing that I will share you. So one of the things that I don't do is I don't debate. So we're not going to talk over each other. We're not going to scream at each other. Like, that's not what we're going to do. And anything that you say, I'm going to ask you for facts and sources to be able to back it up. So I'm gonna need you to be able to do that, and it's a conversation. So really quickly, let me do something because I need to take care of my my kiddos for just a second. One moment. Oops. Because the babies always come first. Got to do what I got to do for them real quick. Okay. Can you do that for me? This.
Hey, Zach, thank you for joining the fan club. I'm sure she appreciates that.
Yeah,
amazing.
I sure do. I love that for Zach, 100%. Yeah. I told you. So, Elle, there are folks that have what I call Dani derangement syndrome. It's DDS. And they end up joining the fan club, and they come every day, even though they have negative opinions of me. But they do. They come every day.
They're your biggest fans.
They are. I told them the cure for Dani derangement syndrome is just to go ahead and become a progressive. That's the cure.
Well, I think that they need to unpack the fact that they probably are, by indoctrination from our Svengali Dani, already pretty progressive and don't even realize it. They probably have some progressive beliefs that allowed them to stay in here as long as they have.
Yes.
But they're just not ready to come out of the glass closet yet.
Yeah, definitely not. Okay, so folks that are over here, hey, Tiffany, good to see you. So folks, I'm getting ready to bring Zach up to the panel. Zach has never been on my panel before. He does come with a reputation though. And it's not a great one, but I give people an opportunity to show me who they are. And I judge them by their interaction with me and not their interaction with everyone else. So we will see what Zach has to say. All right. So, all right. Good afternoon, Zach. How are you?
Thank you very much for bringing me up.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I'm great. So what was the subject that you wanted to discuss?
By the way, do you mind if I get on camera? I find it makes people talk more humanly to each other.
Oh, I talk humanly always, but if you want to be on camera, that's fine.
Sure. I'm not going to do anything inappropriate. I find that it leads to more productive conversations.
Okay. So what's the subject matter that you wanted to talk about?
Well, I mean, I think Iran is on everyone's minds, and I think I can offer a slightly alternate viewpoint that still is actually really progressive.
Okay. And what's that?
So we have a military-industrial complex in this country. You recognize that?
Yeah.
And it's like it is the driver behind almost every bad intervention that we've made in modern American history since World War II.
I mean, it's part of the driver, but go ahead.
So we sell a lot of weapons, sort of what we do. And in the Middle East, and generally globally, it requires a boogeyman, right? So the military-industrial complex has been propping up this regime despite claiming to hate it, right? Sometimes aiding it, sometimes just not doing anything about it for 50 years. As the Iranian people suffered, we used it as a way to scare Saudi Arabia and Jordan and Egypt and Israel into buying weapons from us. And this is the first time, as per usual with Donald Trump, that we're taking a radical break from the status quo political, moves and sort of accomplishing three things at once. One, we are, we're going to take care of our oil needs, right? So let's put it out of there. I think America needs to stop lying about why it does stuff. Secondly, we're hurting China. We're isolating China. This is a move that hurts China. Third, probably not a reason at all, but as an aside, we are liberating the Persian people of Iran, who have been under a brutal dictator for 50 years. And lastly, and again, this has to do with a separate set of incentives, but our closest ally, the ally that literally, co-develops our weapons with us, that does all sorts of intelligence work that we could never accomplish, we are saving them from a very real threat in their region. And so for all of those reasons, I think Iran is a fantastic deal. Now, it remains to see how it will be executed. Now we're actually in on a war, so the military-industrial complex is involved, and we'll see how they sort of keep us there or whether they allow us to extricate. But my guess is in 3 months, we're going to be out of this war. There will be a regime change that will be, ground up. We're going to have Reza Pahlavi in, and, I think we see a stable Middle East for the first time in 50 years.
So can you share with me, Zach, when we have ever done a successful regime change?
That's sort of like saying, when have you made a successful trick shot?
No, that's not. No, that's very specific, because the United States of America has been very involved with several regime changes throughout its history. And so what I'm going to ask you for is name one instance where the United States of America has involved itself and caused a regime change to happen, and that been successful in that country for the people and for us.
Sure. I mean, most recently, Venezuela.
Venezuela is not successful.
Of course, it's wildly successful. We now have everything that we want out of Venezuela, and their economy is rebounding, and they don't have a brutal dictator in charge anymore.
So what we have, Venezuela has not, number one, it hasn't even been long enough to know if it's going to be successful, right? Number two, Venezuela was crime wars. We literally did war crimes in what we did with Venezuela. Okay. I don't know why you look confused. Because what we don't do. Okay. So if you send your military into another country and you kidnap the president of that country, right? That is a war crime. That is an act of war, and it is a war crime according to international law. So That's number one. Number two, when you say we're going to have everything that we want to get from Venezuela, the type of oil, the crude oil that comes out of Venezuela, is going to require a $185 billion investment, and which will take approximately 15 to 16 years if we were ever to be able to even do anything with the oil that comes out of Venezuela. That's second, because it is a particular type of oil. It's black oil. It's very thick. Right. So the infrastructure that currently exists. Hold on a second. I really let you talk and I didn't overtalk you. Right. So the infrastructure for Venezuela, their infrastructure that they had that would be able to process and refine that type of crude oil is virtually non-existent and would take a ton to be able to even do anything with. So there's nothing right now that is successful about what we did in Venezuela, right? We became war criminals. I mean, we've been that for a very long time, but that would be number one. Number two, when you say what we are doing in Iran or what we've been using Iran for, has been doing it for 50 years, I would suggest that you need to go back even further. So can you tell me in what year Iran was a democracy?
Oh, you mean, I assume you're meaning that it ended when we unseated Mossadegh?
So I meant what I asked you. I asked you, when was Iran a democracy?
I mean, I guess by that logic, it's what, 53?
Yeah, well, he was elected in 51, right? He was democratically elected in 1951. And what did Mossadegh want to do? What did he want to do in Iran?
He wanted to nationalize the oil industry.
Right. Because why?
Because he wanted to capture more prosperity of the nation's oil reserves for its own people.
He wanted to keep his reserves. He wanted to keep the resources for his country, for his people in their country, because it's theirs. And because the British controlled 51% of it, and they were not giving fair profit sharing, and they were creating poor working conditions for the Iranians, right?
Yeah, I mean, listen,
yes.
There's a really good argument that we probably should not have installed the Shah.
So give me a second. Hold on, because I'm not finished, right? So what we know is that Iran was a functioning democracy, and many historians would say and argue that the road that Iran was going down would have probably led to a democratic socialist society that would have been very functional and respectful of everybody's rights and all of those things, right? So when the Anglo-Iranian oil company, which is now BP, when they realized, oh hell, we're about to lose our position in Iran, because they did pass the legislation under Mohammad Mossadegh's leadership. They did pass legislation. So it's not that they wanted to nationalize oil. They did. They passed the legislation to nationalize their oil resources. And so then the British said, we need to make a coup happen. We need to unseat this dude, and we need a coup. But we can't do it by ourselves. So they asked the United States of America to join in, right? And so what was the operation that they did to cause a coup in Iran?
I can't remember the name.
Yeah, so it was Operation Ajax. And that is when MI6 from the British and the CIA from the United States of America joined up together. And then we proceeded to fund and finance a coup that unseated a democratically elected leader in another country for that country's resources, right? That's what we did. And as a result, about 300 Iranians died at that time. As a result, we installed the Shah. And we installed the Shah because the Shah could be controlled by the West. And what the Shah proceeded to do was install Western culture and demand that Iranians begin to live life as Western people. That is why you see pictures of Iranian women in Western clothing. Did you know that the Shah actually violently punished people if they did not partake in Western culture, right? So when we talk about this horrible regime that the Ayatollah was, and I'm not saying that he wasn't horrible, I'm also saying that so was the Shah. What I'm also saying is the Shah also punished and used violence to make people in Iran behave and perform like people in the West. And the Islamic Revolution took place specifically in response to the installation of the Shah. Had the US and the British simply minded their business and not attempted to take over someone else's country and cause a coup and get rid of a democratically elected prime minister, we most likely would have never had the Islamic Revolution. So everything that you claim to be liberating Iran from is caused by the West. And I would take issue with the words that you're choosing when you say liberating. For me, this idea that you are liberating them comes from a white savior complex that brown and countries don't need. What I know is that white Western countries always think that they need to liberate or save black and brown people from their countries and their ways, and nobody asked them to do that. Nobody asked that. So, well, no, it's not that you let me speak. I'm going to finish and then I'll let you respond. Perfect. And if the United States of America was concerned about Iran at all, then what they wouldn't have done and what Ronald Reagan wouldn't have done would be to fund Saudi Arabia and Saddam Hussein to invade Iran, right? And cause a war, giving them intelligence, giving them funding, meanwhile, at the same time, selling Iran weapons with funds that were not allocated, right? And that was against the law, specifically against the law that Congress passed. The United States of America does not give a fuck about Iran or the women in Iran. We know for a fact that the United States of America doesn't care about women, because if they did, things here in this country would be vastly different. So let's don't pretend that we are doing this to quote unquote liberate women, because we are not in any way, shape, or form. Now you can respond.
All right, well, so working back, I never said, and in fact, very explicitly said that America doesn't care about liberating women. I said that that's a purely sort of ancillary benefit of this war.
It's not an ancillary benefit. There's nothing to prove that it's going to be a benefit. So listen, so here's the thing. So this, because, hold on.
You're not going to allow me to finish my thought?
No, because I want to make sure that we can converse on this one point right here. Okay. So here's the thing. It's not an ancillary benefit because there's been nothing that says that these people are going to be liberated. Nothing. Like literally the regime that exists today is still the regime that existed when we began bombing them. Right? And so what we know is that typically that's what's going to continue to happen. The same people with the same beliefs that are part of the regime are going to just, like, you kill his son, guess what? Mila, don't scream. You unline his son, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to put somebody else right back in there with the same ideology, with the same mindset.
A couple things that you said that are correct, right? 100%, we don't have a guarantee yet that this is liberating anyone, right? Because as you said, if it ends up being that this regime just, is somebody down the line ends up taking over the regime with the same views or even more hardline views, then we haven't liberated anyone.
Enough, Mila.
But I do think, and this is based not on my belief, but on some very brown friends of mine who come from Iran, whose families were kicked out of Iran in the revolution, who very much do, I think, have a right to say that they and millions of people in Iran have been begging the world, anyone in the world, to help improve their material situation, which, again, if we liberate them, I'll go back, if we win this war and we install a completely Western-friendly regime, then we will have liberated millions and millions of women and young girls who are going to grow up in this deeply repressive culture. I think earlier you mentioned how,
1 second, Zach. Mila Ann. Hey, Mila. That's enough, sis. That's enough. Okay, go ahead, Zach.
So it also struck me as odd that, and I understand that this is the thing, but that you would say, that the Shah sort of was forcing Western culture on Iran.
Mm-hmm.
as if that is a bad thing. I understand that any sort of anything forced on anyone is a bad thing, but can you tell me what about Western culture is so bad that the response in your mind naturally is that they start beating women as a public policy for showing their hair? Like what about Western culture is so damaging to women?
Well, so that's a completely separate conversation, but so there's nothing about Western culture that makes it better than Iranian culture.
100%. And by the way, that's not Iranian culture. It's Islamist culture.
So let's be clear. Nope.
Iranian culture is Persian culture, which is thousands of years old and is like colorful and bright and very, pluralistic and democratic
and which they were until we interfered. So let me once again say this. Okay. So let me just say this. So their culture is theirs, period. We do not have the right to put our culture on anyone. That's just
it. Culture. Treating women with respect is not.
No, it was specifically Western culture. They are very much. So let me just say this. Stop for a moment, because Zach, the women in Iran are absolutely treated with respect. They are some of the most educated in the world, the same way that women in Palestine are. The women in Palestine have a literacy rate of 99%. I know engineers from those regions. They are treated with respect. You take examples of, hold on. Yes. Okay. And that's okay for now. So, but here's my thing. You take specific examples of extremist things that have been done to women, right? These are different situations. And we can do the same thing in the United States of America. When you say that we respect women, when you say that we respect women in the United States of America, we don't. Women in this,
if American Christian men suddenly said, "Hey, listen, it is our culture to want modesty from our women, and so we're going to enforce a long sleeve shirt ban or a long sleeve shirt rule. You cannot, as a woman, walk outside without a long sleeve shirt on." Would you consider that to be like a cultural thing that anyone should be able to make the judgment?
Well, you specifically said Christian. Yeah, you specifically, but you're missing the point. We're going to go back. So if another country decided to swoop in here and kidnap our president and take him back to their country, nobody was killed, it was done within 4 hours, would that be an act of war? No, I was giving an example of Venezuela. The bottom line is, it's not about, let me be clear. It is not about whether you think what they are doing in that country is bad. Because, by the way, Saudi Arabia is just as strict on their women and their enforcement. Yeah, and guess what? We're not attacking Saudi Arabia, are we?
We shouldn't be allies with them.
But we're not liberating.
Saudi Arabia is because we've been using Iran and their fucking brutal regime as a puppet boogeyman to sell bullets. No one cares about whether we should be friends with or not.
No, my point is we're not bombing Iran. We're not liberating those women. We're not liberating those women.
We are, I mean, not as the reason to do it, but we are in fact going to.
But no, we're not. There's nothing historically speaking that suggests that will be what happens. And the point is simply this: is who are you to believe that you should liberate them? We have Zach, we have international law. We have international law for a reason. We don't get to just decide we're going to go liberate a country.
So just to be clear, you understand that international law comes from the UN, which is the same body that put Iran in charge of the Human Rights Commission? Like, do you not recognize that these international bodies are literally just democratic forums for brutal dictators and thugs to have an equal voice as other like democratic?
Except they don't have an equal voice, because what we know, no, they don't. Not in the UN, they don't. You tell me the name of the countries. Tell me the name of the countries in the UN that they can actually veto anything else. Tell me.
No, obviously, okay. You're right that they don't get an equal vote totality in terms of what passes in the UN. But when it comes to like what the UN sort of supposedly cares about, it is obvious that a democratic group of mostly non-democratic countries is never going to produce an outcome that is pro-freedom.
So again, do we have international laws that everyone has agreed to or not?
I think we supposedly do, yes.
No, it's not supposedly. Not
No,
supposedly.
It's 100% supposedly. It's 100%.
No, it's not supposedly. Do we have the laws or do we not?
Do you want to talk? I mean, I can go into the UN all day long.
No, I'm asking you a very specific question. Do we have international law or not?
No. I mean, we have a law. Is it objectively applied? No, not at all.
I didn't ask you if it's applied. I didn't ask you how it is applied. I asked you, does the law exist?
Do we have equality of justice in America?
Again, Zach, this is not a difficult question. Does international law exist?
Sure, yes, it's written down. International law exists.
Okay, great. So it's not supposedly. It does exist. Yes?
Is it illegal for a policeman to unalive intentionally black and brown people?
Zach, we're not going to pivot.
It's not
Zach,
allowed,
we are not. Zach, I didn't ask you how law may or may not be applied. I asked you, does the law exist? Okay, great. Well, no, not of course, because you said supposedly at first.
If something doesn't actually matter.
No, it does matter. It does matter. And the fact that it exists matters.
Okay, sure.
Right.
We have all sorts of laws that require equality in America today.
But we're not pivoting to that. We're going to stay right on here, right? So we have international law and it does exist, correct? So if the United States, right, is part of this community that developed and agreed to those terms, that international law, are we wrong if we break the international law? Are we criminals if we break international law?
According to that law said, yes.
So yes. So right now, the United States of America we are committing war crimes.
I get it. And I'm saying I really don't care.
Okay, but here's my point. I really do care.
It says about whether we are war criminals for executing a perfectly logical, reasonable.
No, it's not perfectly logical and reasonable. Tell that to the people that are dead. Tell that to them. Have you ever served in the military, Zach?
You're right. There are millions and millions of people across the Middle East who have been brutally murdered by this regime through their proxies.
There have been more people murdered by the United States of America than Iran.
Not even close.
Oh, hell yes, even close. Go to Africa. Go to any other country. Go to any of the black and brown countries. Absolutely, 100%. America and the Brits are the greatest terrorists in the world.
Hey, the Brits are a very different thing than us.
No, they are not a very different thing. We came from them. And we very gladly join with them every time we turn around.
So did Canada. Canada came from them.
So again, here's the difference, right? No, India didn't come from them. India was already there.
No, I mean, India is a post-colonial society.
India did not come from the Brits. They existed before the Brits showed up.
Automatically makes you this bad thing.
Yeah. So again, here's what I'm saying to you. When you try to say that Iran, that more unalivings have happened because of Iran than the United States of America, it's simply not accurate.
Okay, so tell me about your numbers for America.
Have you ever served in the military, Zach?
That's a pivot. I asked you.
No, I'm asking the question.
I understand that you seem to be okay asking questions back when you get asked.
I am, because it's my platform. Yep.
Okay, fair. I'm sorry. What was the question that I have to answer before you answer?
Yeah. Have you ever served in the military, Zach?
I have not. No.
You have not. Okay, I have. Right.
Okay.
And so here's what I would say. Hey, Wawa. Having served in the military, having had a security clearance that is TSSCI, having had access to information that is greater than top secret, I can tell you for sure, for a fact, we have committed more unalivings than Iran has. and in many more places than people in this country will ever know. So you don't have to, I don't have to justify that. The bottom line is whether you believe something is reasonable or not, right? So I believe that it's reasonable that if somebody that is starving on the street might want to steal a loaf of bread, that's reasonable because they want to eat, but it's still a fucking crime. And in the United States of America, we prosecute those people. So the United States of America, whether they believe it's reasonable or not to bomb Iran, to quote unquote liberate women, even whether you think it's reasonable or not, or logical or not, doesn't matter because it's still a fucking crime, which means we shouldn't be doing it. And the fact that we are means we are, in fact, war criminals.
Okay. I mean, listen, you can call us war criminals all you'd like.
No, I'm not calling us war criminals. We are, by definition. We violated the crime and started a war that makes us war criminals.
Have you ever been on the phone with like a customer service agent? They're like, "I'm sorry, sir. It's just it says it in the manual. It's really clear right here. Cannot do a really reasonable, obvious thing, even though I obviously have the power to do it."
Well, people aren't going to die through your customer service call, Zach.
But what I'm saying is, you can tell me that something is objectively true, and I can agree with you. It doesn't change the general premise, which is that it's stupid.
No, I don't believe that laws, and maybe you feel that it's stupid because you've never put your life on the line. Maybe you think it's stupid to have laws about when we do and don't go to war, but I can promise you that the people that have signed their name on the dotted line and put their lives at risk to go to war, they don't think it's stupid. They don't think it's stupid to have checks and balances and laws that determine when you send me off to put my life at risk. It's not stupid.
Did someone put a to your head when you signed up?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Zach. It doesn't matter.
You signed up for me to pay your salary.
No, Zach, please don't do that because that's very disingenuous. Don't do that. And I tell you what, here's what I would say to you is whatever you do, what I would not suggest you do is diminish the service of people who choose to be in the military.
Again,
I would say that 100%.
Have there been American war criminals that were soldiers that were wearing our uniform? Yes. Have you guys done a whole bunch of bad shit historically? Yes. Did you get paid to do it? Yes. Did you sign up voluntarily? Yes. So I'm sorry if I don't have this like automatic respect.
No, I didn't ask you that. Here's what I said to you is, Zach, this is it. No, here's what I'm telling you, Zach, is the reason that people are willing to sign up is because there are laws that dictate when we go to war. So that decision, that voluntary choice to sign up is with the understanding that people do not send us to war illegally. That's the understanding. That's the law. So when you call it stupid, so Zach, when you get a job and the company says to you, this is our manual, these are the things that we don't tolerate. These are the things that you will be given, and this is what you will be paid to do when you get it, right? If you join the company and all of a sudden the company changes the contract that you signed, the company changed their policies that existed when you joined, right? Then that's a whole different ballgame. You got the job voluntarily. So the bottom line is, it's not about whether or not people voluntarily signed up. Hold on, because your food's about to come here.
Where in your U.S. military handbook did they say we will not go to war if the rest of the world doesn't want us to go to war?
That's not what we did. It says we do not go to war. The Constitution says we don't go to war unless Congress says we do. The Constitution says we don't go to war unless Congress says we do. Got it.
Were we at war in Vietnam? What about Korea? What about the Gulf War? Was that
so? You do understand, Zach? We're not doing the whataboutisms right now. Just because we have done something horrible in the past doesn't mean we should still be doing it 60 years later. So what one would think is that when we did something wrong 60 years ago, we shouldn't do the same shit again. We should have learned by now not to do that, especially when it comes to Vietnam, which my father had 2 tours in. Okay? So we can talk about a whole lot of other things, but the reality is this: the law exists for a reason. And we don't take an oath to the President of the United States. We don't take an oath to Congress. We don't take an oath to a particular political party. We take an oath to the Constitution, period. Obama did not do it.
By the way, you said did not do it?
No, Obama did not take us into war.
Oh, but he did drone strike a wedding party.
He did, absolutely, 100%.
I mean, again, sort of like crazy work that you have this like.
So, no, it's not crazy work. There's a difference. So let me be clear. There's a difference between individual strikes that the president has the authority to do, right? And going to war. They are 2 different things. And and President Obama did not take us to war.
Okay.
Hey, Dominic.
Protect the Constitution.
What? Hey, girls, not so loud playing your game.
Mina's trying to kill me in the game, and I'm trying to help her.
Okay, but not so loud, guys. Oh. Okay, yeah, just now, coming.
Mina, you broke the line. I did.
I don't know where Zach went.
Wow. Mina, help.
Yeah. So let me just speak.
Is he here?
He looks to be here, but he muted himself for whatever reason.
Give me 2 seconds.
He's back.
Dom, it's here. So
It's so funny. We just said we weren't going to do this, and here we are.
right. I couldn't tell you guys. But the reality is this, folks, that it's very, very simple when you talk about, oh, we're going to have all of the resources that we want. They're not ours. We're not entitled to take them just because we want them. That's it.
Again, I recognize that you have this sort of slavish loyalty to, these like.
I'm sorry. I have what? Wait, Zach, you said I have what?
I think the pronunciation is slavish. I think it's slavish is the word.
No, that's not what you said.
Yes, it's 100%.
Yeah, no, you did not say slavish.
Yeah, look up the word. It's
But that's not what you said. You didn't say slavish.
Did I say slavish?
That's exactly what you said. And slavish, hold on. Slavish is about being submissive.
Yeah, that's what I was pointing out. Submissive, like a weirdly submissive desire to like care about these rules that are.
No, that's not what it means. No. So slavish is relating to or characteristic of a slave. And I find that to be an interesting word choice for you in this conversation.
Wow. You just said exactly who you are and what you're about. You don't need to say another word.
I understand that, like, maybe normally you deal with people with a limited vocabulary.
No, it's not about a limited vocabulary. I have a very broad vocabulary, Zach, but I also am very intentional about the word choice. Right? And so, Zach, if you have such a broad vocabulary, if you have such a broad vocabulary, Zach, then
You came in here in good faith, and you said you weren't going to do this, and now you've resorted to misogyny, insults, petty bullshit, and intellectual disingenuous. You've been disingenuous, but you're also insulting other people's intellect, who you have no idea who they are, where they come from, what they do. I mean, if you're going to come here and do this, you need to do better. Because again, we've heard all these insults. They fall on unalived ears. But you know what? You're showing all the ways that you are saying that Dani is or we are. It's a direct projection of your own behavior. So just hope you're aware of that.
yeah. So Zach, if you have such a broad vocabulary, right, which you said that you did, can you share with me why you thought slavish was, and it's actually slavish. That's the way it's pronounced, is slavish. You tried to change it to slavish. But can you share with me why you thought that slavish would be an appropriate word to use?
Because it means to submit.
So why not use the word submit?
Oh, I'm sorry. I should use the easy words when I'm talking to you?
I'm sorry, what?
Did I use the easy words when I'm talking to you?
So no, this is my question, because you said you have a very wide vocabulary. And so if you have a very wide vocabulary, my question to you is, why would you choose that particular word? What is it about the word slavish that you thought would be appropriate and the best way to express yourself? What is it about that word?
That is literally what I mean, is that you sort of, like
so you were calling me a slave? Is that what you were saying? So you thought the best way to describe me was to call me a slave? Is that what you're saying?
If you're upset with
no, it's not that I'm upset about anything. My question to you,
I will dumb it down.
No, my question is very simple, Zach. We are not pivoting. My question is very simple. Okay. So I'm asking you why you thought slavish was the best word to use when describing loyalty. You said slavish loyalty. So I'm asking you, what is it about that word that you thought was the most appropriate way to talk about loyalty?
Well, to be clear, my brain, which might surprise you, works sort of faster than my mouth sometimes, gives me the things that come out of my mouth. And in this instance, the context was correct, that instead of loyalty born from service and friendliness and logic, it is loyalty born from submission. And that's why I use the word. And because slavish loyalty is something that people say all the time.
No, it's slavish. No, and people don't use it all the time.
I don't say it very well.
Zach, do you believe that somehow you are more than, better than? I mean, it sounds like you think that you are more intellectual than the people here. Probably think you're more accomplished. You definitely think you're better looking if you have to turn the camera on, which is catfishing, by the way. But that being said, like, what allows you to think that you are a cut above, better than, more than any other person, either on this panel, in this room, or anywhere in the world? Let us know what it is that defines your superiority. Besides your intellect, which is
girls here.
I don't know. It's minimal. Your looks, I don't want to go there, but you're not what you think you are, and you certainly did not come in good faith like you said you would. So you're going to run away.
Mila,
you're going to answer.
Bella, come on. So I would really like to know.
The host cares about that. I think that's
well. So here's what the host does care about. Okay, because you just said I'll dumb it down for you, which is an insult to my intelligence. So what I would ask you, Zach, is why you believe that you are intellectually superior to me.
I don't necessarily think I think I'm intellectually superior to most people, and that might include you. You're quite intellectual. You speak very well, and
I don't need you to tell me. I know how intellectual I am.
Great. So then,
yeah. So my question to you is, so we're going to go back to my original question, and I'm going to ask you why you believe that slavish was the best word choice. And we're not going to blame it on our brain thinks faster than our mouths, right? Because we know for people that process faster than other people, we have learned how to wait before we speak and not let our mouths get us in trouble. At least I would hope by the time that we are grown as adults, we would have learned that. So the question is, why do you believe that slavish was the appropriate word for you to use?
The same reason a large language model would have used it is because they see the pattern that it gets used quite often in that context.
It doesn't get used very often to me, not when talking about loyalty.
Again, my guess is you don't speak to many people who...
No, I probably don't speak to a lot of bigoted people. You're probably right about that.
And Zach, here's
Again,
the problem.
the word is not bigoted at all.
The word is bigoted. The word is bigoted.
Zach, here's the problem. You may
Here's
think you're
this.
intelligent, but you lack emotional intelligence to not understand where we're going with the conversation and why we're asking these questions. It takes somebody emotionally intelligent, empathetic, and self-aware to understand why Dani is asking you this over and over. The fact that you cannot make the connection between the things coming out of your mouth and the questions that she's asking, that shows a huge gap. So whatever intelligence you think you have, it only really is relevant to the small little world that you live in with a small circle of people that maybe tolerate you, but you have no worldview, you have no self-awareness, and you don't belong on this panel or in this room, and probably not on this app, talking to or influencing anybody that may actually look up to or listen to you. Please know that. Thank you.
I mean, listen, if you guys haven't figured out that I am just not more than a little, like, quite a bit autistic and don't really care about your feelings when it comes to having,
So
conversations.
that's one thing that we're not going to do either. We are.
This is not an emotion conversation.
Yeah. So let me just be clear. Yeah. Elle has Asperger's.
And you know what I've accomplished in my life? A multitude, many things. And you know what? I've never ever used that as an excuse for why I can't process, why I can't act, why I don't show up, why really to condone any bad behavior.
Correct.
So if you're going to sit here and rest on that, then you know what? Maybe you probably don't, not maybe, you don't belong in a room like this talking to people if that's going to be your excuse.
Yeah,
like,
that's a very...
You know how many times, one second, Elle, can you objectively look at how many times you tried to just insult me as a person? You talked about my
No, I didn't insult you.
Intellect. You talked about all sorts of things.
No, I didn't. No. So here's the thing.
You're the good guy?
I'm sorry about your feelings, but your feelings are not facts. I didn't insult you. I pointed out how my differences don't limit me, and I don't use my differences as an excuse for not, I don't know, complying to somebody else's wishes. But you want to sit here and act like a victim, number one, and then you blame it on a disability, which is not a disability. I mean, it's harmful to women. It's harmful to really multiple communities. And on top of it, you can't just receive or listen to anything somebody's saying to you. All you do is push back and whine and cry. You are taking this situation and this room, centering yourself, and then you have the audacity to act like a victim, thinking that anybody's going to give a flying fuck about your feelings or thoughts.
Well, so let me...
He's so real.
Zach, can I, let me just share something with you. So, autism is not, autism does not cause bigotry. So there are plenty of people that have autism that don't use bigoted words in their vocabulary, right? And so I think it's when you say, have you not picked up on the fact that you're autistic? Autism is a very, very large spectrum. I know. I have a grandchild that's on the spectrum. I'm neurodivergent myself, right? What we don't do is use those things as excuses for our bad behavior or our inappropriate language, right? And you're not unable, Zach, you're not,
That's a ridiculous.
Zach, you are not incapable of picking up on social cues. You know social cues, right? You very well, in this conversation, you have demonstrated effectively that you are able to pick up on social cues, right? You know good and well how to, you are social. You're not antisocial. You don't have problems having conversation and demonstrations. You're not any of that. And so what I find you doing is using a diagnosis as an excuse to say things that are inappropriate, right? And first you said it was because your brain thinks faster than your mouth. Then it was because you're autistic. Then it was because, like, literally, I've now heard you give several different reasons as to why you chose the word that you chose. And here's what I'm going to say to you, right? I could choose a lot of words, like having a word, even if a word would describe what I want to say, right? What I would know is that if the word is appropriate to use or not, right? And especially, is the word appropriate to use in particular company, right? And so the fact that the word may or may not describe what you wanted to convey, a man with a vast vocabulary such as yourself could have easily chosen a different word if he desired to have a conversation in good faith and not be offensive and not do any of those types of things, right? And so that's the thing that I would say, Zach, when you say, oh, I think that I'm more intelligent than most people. Well, no, if you were more intelligent than most people, you would know how to pick other words to convey your meaning, right? Rather than pick a word that could be potentially volatile, right? And so, yeah, I would offer that to you, Zach, because what you're demonstrating to me, he said that I was slavishly loyal to something. And I stopped him when he started to say that, because the slavish part is what got me. And I wanted to know why he thought that was the best word, the most appropriate word for him to use. And then he talked about, oh, you're probably used to talking to people with a lesser vocabulary than me, which I don't know why you would think that. You have no idea who I talk to on a regular basis or what their intelligence level is, right? It means exactly what it says, right? It is based on the word slave. It is based on the word slave, right? 100%. That's the word that it's rooted in. And so my question to him was, why did he think that was the most appropriate word to use? Why would you use a word that related to being a slave? Dominic, babe, you left your drink. And so he proceeded to tell me what a vast vocabulary he had. And what I said was, well, you know, a man of your intellect, why would you not know to choose a different word? Surely to goodness, someone as bright as yourself.
Or a man of my intellect does not get intimidated into using the wrong words or less.
It's not about intimidation, Zach, and you know that.
Okay. So then this is what I'm saying, which is that I don't actually find using correct words that actually have nothing to do with chattel slavery in America.
No, Zach, hold on.
Obvious connection to
Zach, here. Here's how I know you're full of shit. So people that are on the spectrum, more times than not, do not participate in ad hominem attacks of people. They just don't. That's just not.
I'm literally the only one who hasn't made an ad hominem attack in this.
You're the only one.
You have just been doing ad hominem after ad hominem after ad hominem.
No.
I'm the only one who hasn't done it.
So you may have an intellectual deficiency. You may. But what is not going.
There you go again. That was like almost like you.
Zach,
I said you may.
Zach, please share with me.
Let me finish.
Zach, when have I used?
To let anybody else talk. But here's the thing: people, more times than not, people with spectrum disorders do not participate in ad hominem attacks. It's just not how it is. We have either some suppressed feelings and often have a hard time communicating our feelings. But what we don't do, it's not just like a knee-jerk reaction to come at other people and insult them when we feel backed into a corner. Just because we feel emotional about a certain thing, it doesn't lead to, ugly behavior. But that's what you're practicing. And the other thing we don't do.
I totally agree. You should listen to yourself.
We do not take other people's words and somehow just center them around ourselves, make it about ourselves, and then cry victim. More times than not, people like myself, and maybe yourself, who knows, we either keep it stuck in, pack it in, continue to pack it in until we just can't take it anymore, or we channel all of that energy to different activities. But instead of taking any of this constructively and remaining in good faith, the only energy that you're putting towards this is centering this around yourself. And what we're not going to do is back down to you doing that. So either tell them to listen and have this conversation, be here in good faith, or get pushed because it's wasting people's time and you're disingenuous and you're not going to find any allies here by continuing to play the victim. Thank you.
So Zach, my question, you made the statement that you were the only person on the panel who hasn't made an ad hominem attack. Can you share with me what I said to you that was an ad hominem attack?
You called me a bigot.
No, I didn't. I said the word was bigot. The word was bigoted.
And my usage of it was bigoted. Is that what you said?
So, but is that about you?
Well,
I'm talking about the
implying
word.
that
I said the word was bigoted, right?
you implying that you don't have to gaslight me.
So
It's
I'm not
okay.
gaslighting you. If you
It's okay
use
to get
if you
called out.
use a word, if you use a word that is bigoted, right? I said the word was bigoted. I didn't say you were.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't
So again,
gaslight me while I gaslight you is what we're doing here then. Got it.
yeah.
No, you're like the literal number one gaslighter up there talking about ad hominem attacks as you throw them willy-nilly. At least the host understands that she might not have openly thrown.
No, I
ad
didn't.
hominem
I didn't
attacks to
openly
the
or
conversation,
I
but
didn't
you
listen.
have literally
I
been
did
doing
not
it.
overtly or covertly throw an ad hominem attack at you, Zach. I did not do that.
So let's
So-
say I agree with you. Let's keep some intellectual honesty. Has she thrown some ad hominem attacks?
Yeah, she did talk about you 100%.
Okay.
Here's what I would also say is, here's what I would also say is,
I did it.
yeah, here's what I would also say is that only occurred after the way that you were speaking on this panel and after you used the bigoted word that you used, right? So I would say that as well. I don't think she didn't start out that way, right? She did not start out that way. But again, so Zach, here's what I would offer to you, okay? If you believe yourself, right, guys, if you believe yourself to be so intellectual, so intelligent, so well versed, and you have all of this vast vocabulary, right? Then you know that you could have very easily chosen a different word that conveyed the exact same meaning.
Okay.
Yeah. So why would you not?
Can you tell me which word?
You already said one. You could have used subservient. You could have used submissive.
Sure.
Yeah, I know.
But why does the word slavish exist?
Well, so it's not about why does the word exist. The question is, why would you use it? Many words exist. Many words exist. But there would be places and rooms and spaces around other people that I simply wouldn't use them out of respect and the acknowledgement of the origins and the usage of the word, right? So the question, so this is what I'm saying to you, and you understand that. You can't pretend that you don't. You do understand that, right? So why I don't understand, why can't you just say, because it's a word I like to use? Why can't you just say that? I like to use that word.
Sure. I like to use better words.
No, you like to use, no, because there are absolutely better words. There are absolutely better words to describe your intent than slavish. There are absolutely better words when we're talking about a type of loyalty. Because, by the way, enslaved individuals aren't loyal. It's not a choice to be loyal. They are enslaved. That is the point. That is the point. That is the point. The way that you used the word, you said slavish loyalty. And if you simply talk about what it means, enslaved, it is from slave. That's where that word comes from, right? The characteristics of a slave. Slavish means submissive, subservient. It has nothing to do with loyalty. It comes from a place of being enslaved. So it's actually not the best word. Hold on, I'm going to finish. It is not the best word to describe loyalty in any way, shape, or form. Because slaves, when you are a slave, when you are enslaved, you don't have a choice about loyalty. Loyalty is something that you give voluntarily. Enslaved individuals don't do that. So when you talk about I like to use better words, you didn't use a better word. You used one of the worst words possible that actually doesn't even go with the word loyalty. You use slavish as an adjective to describe a type of loyalty when in fact there's no such thing as slavish loyalty. Because loyalty doesn't come from someone who is enslaved. So again, why can't you just admit that you like to use the word slavish?
So Dani, there's a slur, obviously, that I won't repeat, but it starts with the word house. And I want to know from you, what is your take on what that?
No, we're not pivoting to that conversation. I'm asking you why you just can't say that you like to use the word.
as evident by my misunderstanding of how it was 100% pronounced, which is why I stumbled for a sec as I said it.
No, you said slavish very clearly. You didn't stumble until I questioned your use of the word. And when I questioned your use of the word,
in my brain, I was going.
When you said the word, you said slavish. When you said the word, you said slavish first. When I stopped you and I asked you, what did you say? Then you changed it to slavish, which that's not the pronunciation. So it was slavish. You used it as slavish. It's the word that you chose. It was not even the best word to articulate what you were trying to say. So my question remains, Zach, why can't you admit that this is just a word you like to say, even if it's not the best word to describe your intent?
So the reason I said slavish was because when
you said slavish.
I understand. I said slavish first.
You said slavish.
You're right. I said slavish when I first initially said it but it took me a second. I don't know if you remember the moment.
No, it didn't.
I hesitated for a second, and then I said slavish. But and then you called me out on it. You said, why do you use that word? And for a second, I was like, wait, is the pronunciation slavish? Have I been doing this wrong?
No, you can't tell me, Zach, with your intelligence level and your vast vocabulary, that you, who has access to all of these words that other people don't use, right? Because that's what you said. And you said, I know you're used to dealing with people that have a lesser vocabulary. Do not expect for me to believe that you have this vast vocabulary and you don't know a word that you use, slavish, is pronounced. Don't act like you think you've been mispronouncing it all the time. We're not doing that. Again, Zach, this is the question that I'm asking you. You use it all. You just told me you use it all the time. You said, have I been doing this wrong? So you like to use the word. Why?
Okay. I have read that word countless times in my life. I have used it very few times in my life. And so when I used it and then you immediately attacked me as if the definition didn't work, I was like, wait a second. Did I use slavish, which isn't a word, or which his definition is different and is actually slavish? Because I knew that the definition in a context setting worked. I knew that it doesn't.
It doesn't work. It doesn't. It doesn't. It doesn't.
It's literally the word it's used most often.
It does not, because you used it to describe loyalty.
Okay, is devotion another word for loyalty?
So again, Zach, you use, it depends on the context.
Okay,
it depends on the context. No, it's not. Just because someone is devoted to you. So again, Zach, this is the question, and we're not pivoting. We're not. I'm going to stay here, Zach. I will not allow you to pivot out of the conversation.
But just to be clear,
because is there any circumstance? Is there any circumstance? And there's not. Let me just be clear. There's no circumstance. Enslaved people were not devoted to their masters. Enslaved people were not loyal to their masters. Enslaved people who were slaves, are not devoted. They're not loyal. They're not whatever. They are in survival mode. They are in survival mode, and there is no other choice. So I'm going to be very clear. When we are describing loyalty and devotion, slavish is not the appropriate descriptor. And you know that, Zach. So share with me why you like the word slavish.
Okay, so just to be clear, we can get this all over with. Are you saying I used it to be bigoted to you? Is that the idea here? That I used the word specifically to trigger you or to be bigoted to you? Is that your statement? Let's stop beating around the bush.
I'm not beating around any bush. I think I said the word was bigoted to start with. Did I not? When I questioned you about it, the very first thing I said is that the word was bigoted.
Why is it bigoted?
You already know why. And I'm not doing that, Zach. I'm not. Zach, I'm not doing it, Zach. Why do you like the word slavish?
Because it's literally the context that I was using.
It was not the context. It was not the context.
100% the context.
It's not the context.
That you have, despite it not being in your best interest, a devotion to a certain set of thoughts and ideas that are actually they're not good for you, which is the literal concept of slavish devotion.
Yeah. So again, it's not appropriate. It's not the best word to choose. Period.
I
Zach,
appreciate
why
it.
can't you just
Well,
say?
I apologize. I apologize.
I don't need your apology, Zach. Zach, you didn't damage me. You didn't damage me.
I'm really sorry.
You didn't damage me. Zach, do I look damaged? Do I look damaged? Do I sound damaged?
Why do we get off the context?
Because when people show me who they are, I believe them. And it wasn't just your use of the word that demonstrated to me who you are. It's the entire conversation that happened afterwards. It's your inability to simply address the issue head on, to state for fact when you know what it is. It's not just your use of the word. It's the whole conversation that happened afterwards, Zach. That's what tells me who you are. That's
I'm
it.
someone who does not get bullied into admitting they're bigot.
No, I wasn't bullying you. In what way? What way? I never asked you to say anything about being a bigot, did I? Did I, Zach? No, I said the word was bigoted.
But it's not bigoted. There's
Okay,
nothing
well, to you. But you also understand that there's a context in which, in other groups of people, that word would absolutely be bigoted. You understand that, and you know it. And only since, okay, well, if you choose not to, Zach, then that's entirely up to you.
Human slavery predates chattel slavery in America by a little bit. So this idea that you want to center yourself and your people's connection to the word
your people's. So let me just stop you for a minute, Zach. Let me just stop you for a minute. I'm aware of the history of slavery in the world. I'm very aware of it. I also know the differences between slavery, indentured servitude, chattel slavery, all of those different types of things, right? I'm not centering myself anywhere. You use the word. That's not, so listen, so, and stop interrupting me. Stop interrupting me. Yeah, well, you're the one with all the intellect and the vast vocabulary, Zach. Right? That's you. So that would mean to me that you should know when to use words and when to not, right?
This is a lovely new ceramicist that I'm collecting.
Zach, nobody's going to look at your stuff. So I don't know how you don't understand that, Zach.
What, you don't like art?
No, he's saying I don't like art because I'm the one who closed his camera.
I have a legitimate art collection. I would love to share it.
Well, that's not the topic of conversation today, Zach.
I thought we were talking about Iran, but
well, we were talking about Iran. We were, absolutely. And when we were talking about Iran, we were talking about the fact that us being there, period, violates international law, which makes us war criminals. And whether you think it's reasonable or not reasonable, we have laws for a reason. We have laws in the Constitution for a reason. We have laws internationally for a reason, right? And just because someone thinks it's reasonable or logical to do a certain thing doesn't mean that they have the right to do it. It's just that simple. They don't have the right to do it.
You think you have the capability to determine what I have the right to say?
I think in my space, I do.
Well, so just to be clear, the rule is be respectful, no slurs. Also, don't use the word slavish.
No, the rule is whatever the fuck I say it is at the time that you say something that's inappropriate. I don't have to make a list of the words that would be inappropriate to use in certain settings. I don't have to do that. A grown man like you should know.
maybe a grown man like me likes to use words that are
bigoted.
Okay. All right. Okay. Listen.
There you go.
I was unaware I was here with the arbiter of,
I don't know whose room you thought you were in.
I do find that when people stop being able to keep up with a discussion, they do sort of start to pivot into details and
No, Zach, don't do that. I can keep up with any discussion you have, and I was keeping up just fine. What I did do was stop you when you used an inappropriate word. I absolutely did. What I do find is when people don't like being identified for exactly who they are, they reverse their camera and start to show art in their house. That's what I find. When I find that people, what I find is that when people are uncomfortable, that people are seeing them for who they are, they will turn their camera around and start showing the art on their walls. That's what I find.
I'm pretty sure you don't have so many people showing their art.
That's what I find. That's what people do.
I have a pretty cool collection of female and people of color's art. I thought I'd just give you guys a little bit of a.
No, I don't think we need to know.
Culturally enrich your lives a little.
Did we ask to see your art? Well, listen, if it's female and people of colors, our lives are already enriched enough because we made the art you're collecting. Right? So I don't think you need to enrich my life. If the art that you're collecting is from women and people of color, I don't need you to enrich my life. That's our art you're buying. So we are already enriched enough because we created the thing that you are collecting. I don't need you to enrich my life. Black and brown people have never needed white men to enrich their lives. It has always been our culture. It has always been our talent. It has always been our intellect. It has always been our skills that you all have desired. We have never needed a white man to enrich our lives, ever. And that does not start today.
I am a Jewish man, which means
I don't care. You can be a white Jewish man. Listen, again, you are a white man.
I'm a Jew. I don't use that to identify myself. In fact, I didn't even need to ever bring it up. I don't know why you want to fall on that too.
So, Dani, you understand that you're also an American, right?
We're not talking about nationalism.
No, I understand. What I'm trying to point out is that you are actually part of a larger group that is wildly privileged relative to the rest of the world, and yet
I'm aware of my privilege. I don't need a mediocre white man telling me about my privilege. I'm well aware of every bit of my privilege.
So, Zach, we're not gonna. Zach, we're staying right here. Zach, we're staying right here. I don't need you to enrich my life. And what we're not talking about everybody else in the world. We are not talking about how we all fit in the world. We are talking about you, the white dude who thought that you needed to enrich my life, showing us the work, the art that you got from women, created by women and people of color. And since I am both of those two things, I definitely don't need you to enrich my life. I could turn around and show you all the art in my home that I've created.
I'm sure the artists that I was about to mention would hate to have 500 people see their art.
Yeah, well, you know what, Zach? That's not what you said. You said to enrich my lives. You didn't say you wanted to share art to turn us on to other artists, did you? No, that's not what you said. But it sounds good now. It's a good pivot. It's a good pivot. It's a good pivot. So you know what? I could not have asked for a better guest. I could not have asked for a better guest to demonstrate the mansplaining. I could not have asked for a better guest to demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. I could not have demonstrated a better guest.
There's this really great video where this sort of very famous therapist, he says 99% of the time that I talk to women and they say that he mansplains, that he's abusive, that it's coercive control. He's like, usually it's just that they disagree with him.
Yeah, well, the thing about it is there's about 500 people in this room, Zach, that are saying the same thing about you. So I don't think it's just me, beloved. And so what I would say is that if 500 people are saying the same thing about you, it's probably not me. It's you. It's you, not me.
You'd like to keep these artists away from your.
It's you, not me.
Again, I'm sure these artists want nothing to do with 500 people seeing the art.
I'm sure they don't.
And I'm sure, by the way, that you wouldn't like any of it and wouldn't think to yourself, "Hey, that's kind of interesting. Maybe I should." I
know.
And I'm sure that wouldn't.
I am sure that I'm not going to pivot to art so that you can stop feeling uncomfortable because I asked you why you love the word slavish.
And by the way, my best art in my house, my most expensive art is by white men who also make great art.
Yeah. So again, Zach, you wanted to pivot to art because you use the word slavish and you like it. And that's cool.
No, I pivoted to art because
So listen,
I don't
Zach,
have
there are
this
so many
conversation
people.
about
So let me just tell you. So Zach, when we started this, and I allowed you to come up on the panel. When we started this, I said, I am not going to judge you by your behavior on other panels or what other people are saying about you. There have literally been 2 or 3 other creators that have come in the chat since you've been up here and said, Dani, this is why I have him blocked. Dani, he's a white supremacist. Dani, he's a this. And they're all saying it, right? And what I said, I'm still speaking. And so what I did was say, I'm going to let Zach demonstrate for me who Zach is. Right? I'm going to judge you by your fruit and how you behave in this space with me. Right? And so, yeah, so that's what it is, Zach. This isn't about whether I want art, whether I don't want art, whatever. This is not about that. This is about your choice of words, and they were intentional, right? You intentionally chose the word. I'm not sure what you thought that you were going to achieve by choosing the word, but you intentionally chose that word, right?
I certainly didn't think it
And
was
so
going to be a 20-minute long detour.
I bet you didn't. I would imagine that you didn't. I would imagine, Zach. I'm just different than other people. I'm different. And so when you do certain things in my space, we're going to talk about it. I think doing our work is good for us. Right? And Zach, listen, it doesn't bother me that you like using bigoted words. I would offer that you might want to examine why you like using them.
Slavish is not a bigoted word.
It
I
is.
refuse to accept that. Just not.
Well, you can refuse to accept it all you want.
Hey, we can disagree.
You can use to accept it if you want. Oh, Black Tap, we know who he voted for.
I won't use it in your presence again, since you clearly cannot handle modern American English.
Oh, since I clearly can't handle it, you're trying really hard to try to rage bait me. It's not going to work, Zach.
Well,
and do you want to know? Do you want to know why? Do you want to know why it won't work, Zach?
Using that word,
Zach,
like to somehow cause you harm.
Zach, do you want to know why it won't work on me? Do you want to know why? Because I am fully aware of who I am, my skill sets, my intellect, my value, and my worth. Listen, if you think being insulted by another mediocre man is somehow going to damage me or make me feel like I'm less than, you are mistaken, beloved. That is not the way that it works here, ever. It never works that way for me, Zach. I have been dealing with little boys like you my entire life. My entire life.
Yeah, but the military was not fun.
Yeah, like you, my entire life.
It is wild that you think so. Again, your assertion here is that I got on the panel, had a totally respectful conversation with you, and then I decided to just be like openly bigoted by using a word that literally predates slavery.
No, I believe that you use the words that you like to use, and the words that you like to use happen to be bigoted words. That's what I think. That's what I think, Zach.
And then also, it doesn't strike you as odd at all that I'm like an art collector who collects.
No, it doesn't. Listen, white people have always liked our art. Listen, racist. You got to understand something. People who owned slaves still had biracial children. Listen, being a bigot or being a racist has never meant that you couldn't enjoy the things that come from Black and brown people. Never, ever. Matter of fact, it is almost always guaranteed that you love it.
It was such a pleasure, but I'm being called for something, so I've got to.
I would imagine that you probably are. All right, Zach, you have a blessed day, beloved.
Wow.
Wow, that was an event.
Yeah. And folks, that's how you do it. See, that is how you do it.
And yet, like, the ad homs are going to come out when the ad homs are not, they're no longer an opinion, when they've shown themselves on their own.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah. So let me tell you. So one of the things that I don't do with people anymore when they do things like that, I'm not going to allow you to pivot or step over it or do anything different. I'm going to make you sit in the discomfort till you leave on your own. I am literally going to make you sit with your face in the mirror so that you see what the rest of us see until you are so uncomfortable you leave on your own. I don't have to block you. I don't have to do anything to you. I don't have to cuss you out. I don't have to do any of that. I'm just going to make you sit with who you are in front of the whole world until you get so uncomfortable you have to leave. I'm being called for something. I bet you are.
the wild part is the lack of self-awareness. Like, I'm not sure what he thought he was going to accomplish, but also, like, somebody, like, the way he mentioned that he felt degraded and insulted, if he felt that way, why do you have a kink where you need to sit and continue to be treated that way? Because the second I felt uncomfortable, if I wasn't ready to deal with some shit, I would run so fast.
I know he's still here. I know he's still here, Sandy. I am aware. Zach is following me at this point. I am aware that he clicked the follow button. I am aware. So Zach can listen. Zach now has a case of Dani derangement syndrome. Yeah. Zach is welcome to sit here. But yeah, this is the way that it works. This is my space, and I run it in a particular way, in a particular form, in a particular fashion, right? Can I go to the White House? I'm just saying. And yeah, DDS is Dani derangement syndrome. Some of them have a really bad case of it. They be talking shit about me, but be here every day. Same people. Dani derangement syndrome. Yesterday, they even followed me into somebody else's live. But we made it through. You know, we are right here. We are right here. Hold on a second. I need to check out this breaking news. Okay, so the Supreme Court is now going to hear arguments over the Trump administration's push to end legal protections for migrants from Haiti and Syria. Because, you know, they care about people and they want to liberate folks. We're going to end your protections. That's how much we want to, that's how much we care about you. Roof. I'm telling you. It's interesting, right, people? I'm going to say this just so that it's very clear, folks. This is not an administration that cares about the people that live in this country or other people around the world. And I really need you all to understand that, this is the game. And they don't listen. They know that it's going to cause harm on people, right? They know that it is going to hurt U.S. citizens. They know that, right? They don't care because they believe it's necessary to create the society that they want. I just need you all to understand that. They believe it's necessary. No, cruelty isn't the point, Ebony. Cruelty is just the side, it's the cherry on top for them. Cruelty isn't the point. They have a particular type of society that they desire to create. And they believe that burning everything down, even if it causes harm, is necessary to create the society that they want. And you find that with extremist ideology, whether that is Christian identity, whether that is white identity, whether that is white Christian identity, you find it in those ideologies. And so when if you have not heard Kevin Roberts' book, I highly recommend that you go to Ocean of PDF, download it, and get a good read. Because Kevin Roberts, president of the Heritage Foundation, lays it out for everyone to see. And J.D. Vance wrote the foreword to the book. So let me check to see if there are people that have requested up that would like to join the panel to discuss everything that we've been talking about. Cruelty is the byproduct, Ebony. It's just the byproduct. But if you could put like a heart in the comments so I know to bring you up, because sometimes people tap, and then they end up requesting up and they don't mean to. Right. And I don't know that people really understand that you don't get to make the end times happen. Jesus doesn't all of a sudden decide to come back because you built the temple. It doesn't work that way. You don't get to create God's timeline. Just checking that out. What's up, Jen? How you got? What you got?
I kind of wanted to hit on the, us pushing our Western culture into the Middle East. And when I was in Afghanistan, we did a lot of med caps. We went out into the different villages and gave medicines and looked at kids. And I had a lot of interesting conversations. And most of the time it came down to, we appreciate you being here, but what's going to happen when you leave?
Yeah.
We love our culture. We don't want your culture. So what's going to happen when you leave?
Correct.
And that's what's going to happen again now in Iran.
Yes. And that's the point that I'm making is that, this idea that they think that they're going to quote unquote liberate the people of Iran. To me, you don't get to take credit for liberating somebody when you are the cause of their current circumstances.
Right, and we are the cause of the Afghan circumstances again.
Yes, and we are responsible for those circumstances. The Afghan circumstances, the Iranian circumstances, in great part the Palestinian circumstances. So you don't get to be credit. You don't get to, have credit for, trying to fix something that you made. Right?
Yeah, and the Haitians that you were talking about, I mean, that's in Ohio. It's close to where I'm from. They're here for a specific reason.
Yes. So are the Syrians. The Syrians. Yeah.
We created a problem and they needed to find a safe place to be.
Yes. And that is the same thing for the Venezuelans. We destroyed their country. We destroyed their infrastructure. We turned them upside down. And then we want to get mad when all of a sudden they want to immigrate here for something better, to be able to live and eat and thrive. Well, I promise you, you all think that America is so great that everyone wants to come here. That ain't it. America is only so great because we keep tearing everybody else down.
And make no mistake, we got here, and again, hear this, because of capitalism and white supremacy. Those two things. And that's why we stay here. And that's why we keep doing it.
Right.
So I just wanted to add that.
And if I'm not mistaken, I I have to verify it, but the South Africans that they brought over,
They
are
left.
asking, they left.
The white South Africans said we had more freedoms in South Africa and things are too expensive here. They sure did. They said we are out. We want to go back.
Yep.
Yep. That's it. Yeah, I'm dead ass. You can look it up. They ready to go. They said the crime here is too crazy. They literally said the crime here is too crazy. We want to go back. They sure did. Hold on, let me see if I can find the article for y'all real quick.
You can drop me down.
Okay, leaving US. Okay, appreciate you, Jen, as always. So yeah, here we go. Oh my God. Yep. Hold on. Okay. So here it is. White South Africans flee the U.S. despite Trump's refugee program. And it says that 12,000 people use the portal and 1,000 people have 1,000 people have now reclaimed their citizenship. Many of those returning to South Africa are leaving the U.S., citing the political situation under the Trump administration. Quote, people are being shot in broad daylight. American citizens are being shot and killed. That's a quote from one of the South Africans. Quote, I don't want to live in a place like this, end quote. Yeah, literally. They said, nah, no, thank you. We'll go back to South Africa. We don't want to be here. And this is the thing. I want you all to understand when people say, yeah, they're saying we're a shithole country. Oh my God. But like real talk, you all. We rank horribly. We are one of the most underdeveloped First Nations that exists. Our infrastructure is decades behind other countries. Right? Our infrastructure is decades behind our healthcare system. We're decades behind other countries. People do not understand that we are literally the shitholes of the First Nations. What's up, Attorney D? How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me up.
Yeah.
My goodness. Just love what we're talking about here. I do want to add one little piece. I've been seeing a lot of Ethiopian moms making posts saying their kids needed to clean their plates because the kids in America don't have enough food.
Well, you know, that's unfortunately, that's correct. Yeah. Unfortunately, that is correct. Yeah, 100%. It's wild to me that people are in such denial about where we are and what's happening to our country. Yeah, I'm Gen X too. And so when do you all think we are going to be in a place where the people that have been dedicated to their denial are going to finally get it? When do you think those people are finally going to get it?
I think we're starting to flip a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing, like when you lift the corners up and you're like, it's not ready yet, but, there's some evidence of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't have time for that. You need to do it now.
Yeah, it is. I hope it doesn't. I don't want it to take, you said when they can feel it. That's my thing, Merlot. That's the thing that I'm concerned about. I am concerned that it won't hit people until they feel it individually. And by that time, because I don't think that people understand where we are right now is going to take years to recover from. Let me play a clip for you guys. Hold on. I want to play a clip for you guys. I pulled it up today. Not that one. Not that one. Well, shit.
I think a lot of time and effort is going to need to be put into it for different amounts depending on what it is. I've been talking about the press, and I keep thinking, like, when are we going to go back to actually having faith and trust in our press? Right? That's going to be a different continuum than, something else.
I feel the same way about like our government at that point, right?
Oh, yeah.
To be honest, I don't trust anything that comes from this administration. And even our press is complicit at this point now, right? And so for me, I don't think that a trust in the press is going to come until there is a demonopolization of the press, where when we now have independent press again, when we have press that is not all owned by the same corporations, right?
Yes, that's huge.
Yes. So for me, I remember when we had various press agencies, and they weren't all under the same umbrella. And for me, it's going to take, this is why, so my idea, Attorney D, I'd love to hear what you think. So what I suggest is that after we get a Democratic majority in Congress this fall, what I recommend that we do is we do a continuing resolution, the same mechanism that the Republican Party used. I say we use a continuing resolution to put back the extended tax healthcare subsidies, to reverse the money that was taken out of Medicaid and SNAP. And then I think that we should use that continuing resolution to take the extra billions and millions of dollars that were given to ICE. And I think that money should be giving to the FTC in order to go after all of our big monopolies, and our big healthcare monopolies, our big pharmacy monopolies, our big insurance monopolies, our big tech monopolies. And then I think we should use that money to break it up and get competition.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love everything about it. The monopolies is the perfect word for what has been going on. And I think we're seeing now what happens when only a few people have that level of power. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure why it took this long to get to this point, but yeah, I agree. I look at the lawsuits right now by PBS. Well, they used to be PBS. And
they still are. They still are.
NPR, right. And those places where the government has clearly said, look, these are liberal stations, so they're done. Mm-hmm. Or the VOS. And it's all part of this kind of campaign to pull that media into where they want them to go. And I think you're absolutely right. Until we break some of these apart, I don't think we're going to see much of a change.
Right. I remember, so, I'm Gen X. So I remember in the 80s when we broke up MCI and Ma Bell, and we said, absolutely not. We're not allowing that. We understood that competition is good. We understood that, because what we have now, guys, is not a free market. We do not. Grocery stores definitely on that list, and the supply chains that fulfill them do God. So I've talked about this for quite a while. So I don't know if you know this about me or not, D or L, but so I've always been a little bit of an advocate, if you will. And what made a lot of people come to know me is because my middle granddaughter was born 26 weeks. She weighed 1 pound, 3 ounces in Northeast Tennessee, where I'm from. And fast forward to a year after she was born, all of a sudden, 2 of the nurses hit me up and they were like, Dani, we don't know what to do. And at that time I had a podcast and whatever, and I still do now. It's just a different one. But they said, we're hearing that they're going to close our NICU. And I was like, what? And they was like, yeah, all of a sudden we've got a different name. They're saying they're going to close our NICU. And so immediately I sent just a Facebook message to the new name of the healthcare system. And I said, are you all planning to close the neonatal intensive care unit at Holston Valley Medical Center? And what I got back was this very scripted response. And it talked about something called a COPA. Are either of you guys familiar with a COPA and what a COPA law is?
I'm not, actually.
It is from the devil. Okay, so A COPA it's called a Certificate of Public Advantage. And it is a mechanism where your state legislatures can create a legal medical monopoly and give that monopoly antitrust protections on a state and federal level. So where I'm from, we have the largest medical monopoly created via a COPA in the entire country. So in a region that is geographically the size of New Jersey, this one healthcare company owns almost every hospital and controls about 97% of the inpatient population.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah. So by the time I heard about it, by the time they notified me about it, it had already happened, but there were stages in which things were going to happen. So there were still times to be able to do things, and there's supposed to be active state supervision, which is just not true. The FTC, we traveled to DC, and I went to the local COPA hearing. I've met with the FTC many times. But anyway, so during that time period, so here's what they promised me. They said in this little response to me, oh, no decisions have been made. The public will have plenty of time to weigh in, to give their opinions before anything is decided, blah, 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 blah. So November 14th, that was October 26th. November 14th, I put up a Facebook post because it marks the 1-year anniversary for when Bella came home from the hospital. So I put up this 1-year message, and I'm thanking all of the NICU nurses and the neonatologists and the respiratory therapists. And I'm talking about how incredible it is that people in my region, which is depending upon where you are in the region, the poverty level goes anywhere from 20 to 40%. And it was just great to be able to have this healthcare. And one of the nurses commented, and she said, it might not be that way much longer. And I said, why? And how about this for coincidence? On that very same day, that healthcare organization had announced they were closing the NICU. And
oh my goodness.
Yeah, but they also announced that of our 3 hospitals that are our tertiary hospitals, they were downgrading one of them from a level 1 to a level 3, which is like you go from required to have 28 specialties on staff, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, to 4.
Oh my gosh.
They were downgrading our level 1 to a level 3, our level 2 to a level 3, which only left us one level 1 in an area that is geographically the size of New Jersey. So in all of New Jersey, there would only be one hospital that's a level 1 trauma center. There would only be one hospital with a neonatal intensive care unit. That's what we have now. We went from having 3- and 4-star hospitals, according to CMS, down to having hospitals that are now 1-star and 2-star hospitals. Hold on, girls, hey. Okay, listen, we're not screaming and fighting over the game. I know she screamed at you. I know. Bella, don't scream over the game. You got to breathe. Okay. So those are my grandbabies in the back. They're out of school today because of the storm. But that's what was created. And so in very short order, here's what I discovered. In 5 days, I found out that the state representative that sponsored the legislation is a paid vendor for the healthcare organization and has been for like 10 years.
Yeah, of course.
Yep. I found out that the person that they chose to be the CEO of this hospital at the other 2 healthcare organizations that he had worked out, the private ones previously. Well, how about this? So the first one, when he came out of college, he spent 10 years at Columbia HCA under Rick Scott when they committed $1.7 billion worth of fraud.
That was a mess.
Yeah. Well, Alan Levine worked there. The second company that he worked for was a private company that he worked for was Broward Health, which also later was determined to have committed Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE fraud during the time that he was the president. And then the third company that he worked for prior to coming here was HMA, Health Management Associates. And HMA was found guilty September 25th of 2018 of also Medicare and Medicaid fraud and fined $269 million. And he is now the person that is running the country's largest medical monopoly in Northeast Tennessee. And they gave antitrust protections. Now, the thing about it is they have presumptive immunity, but it's not, you don't have it unless it's tested in court. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But
Yep, I do.
yep, but because of the way that active supervision is not defined and not specified, there's no precedent set. So the FTC was the position that they were in was they came down 3 times to say, don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And people still did it. Long story short, once I found out all of the corrupt stuff, I ended up organizing our first community forum. We filled the building. That was at the end of December. So from November 14th till December 29th, we organized our first community forum and maxed out the building. And
Goodness gracious.
yeah. And then the local COPA hearing, they had to reschedule it because the meeting room that they were in wasn't going to be large enough. So they moved to a room of 500. We still damn near filled the building. And all of this was done with organizing online. When we kept fighting this entire thing, May 1st, I'll never forget, I was live. And that was the day that I found out after I got them to delay closing it for 6 months. But they eventually did close that NICU. And the day that they made that announcement, I was devastated because we had done everything right. You know, we'd had public forums. I'd gone to every board of supervisors meeting, every county commission meeting. Like we'd filled it out. Like the people were behind it. And so when I didn't know what else to do, I literally packed a sleeping bag, a backpack, and my laptop. And May 2nd of 2019, I just went out to the hospital, to Holston Valley Medical Center. I sat down on a public right of way and I went live and I said, I'm not leaving until something changes. And we were out there by noon, like 50 people showed up. We were out there on that public right of way from May 2nd of 2019 to January 13th of 2020. So for 257 days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, we were out there against this medical monopoly. And we collected 30,000 local signatures on paper, took them to Congress, all the things. And so that's where a lot of people started following me from, in addition to the following that I already had. So when we talk about monopolies, it's something that is very near and dear to my heart. And I don't think that people understand the dangers of the medical monopolies and of the monopolies that we have in this country.
I think you're absolutely right. They don't. One of the things, though, I think that is so amazing about what you did was giving them a visual. I'm finding over and over and over again to actually have a visual where they can see these people are concerned. We're here. You know, maybe we're not just a name on a piece of paper. We're here. We're talking to you. Yep. And I think that always has a huge effect. So that's incredible that you could put something like that together.
Oh, yeah.
I hope we can learn. I hope we can pass laws that break the monopolies apart, or have our case law do it as well. That's my hope. I keep thinking, like, we've had a lot of monopoly cases in the history of the U.S.
Yep.
And one of the most famous one was out of, I believe, Louisiana. And it was a fight between the state having the monopoly over 3 slaughterhouses or the federal government. So it wasn't a fight about whether or not to have a monopoly. It was a fight on who gets to have the benefit of having it. But that's always been like, what are we doing? Why is the government like, woohoo, go monopoly, we're making money? It's like, that's not right. That's not how it's supposed to be.
And for everybody that's talking about, that's not a free market. That is not free enterprise, you guys. It's literally, it's one of the worst things that can happen to us. And it is happening on such a large scale today that, you know, this is going to sound really crazy, but I literally preferred TikTok over Facebook or anything else because I trusted China more with my information than Mark Zuckerberg.
Oh my gosh, same. Same. I closed all of those other accounts down or put them on pause. I'm like, wow, they're gonna get into my info. And then over here on the TikTok, I'm like, here I am. I got no brain.
Well, see, and I can't leave the Facebook. Like, I have a solid following over there as well. And the thing that is here's the one thing that is beautiful is that because so many people over there follow me because of the medical monopoly stuff, they also, whether they like it or not, and a lot of times they don't like it, they end up learning about everything else as well.
That's good stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's great.
Yeah.
Accidental knowledge. We love that.
Yeah, 100%. And so I just feel like, so this is where I'm at. I kept watching the Republican Party and the conservative movement plan their work and work their plan, right? You had Project 2025, you have Project Esther, you have Project Everything. And we didn't have anything like that on the progressive side of the world, right? So I wrote one.
You're true. Oh, good. Oh my gosh. All right.
So, okay. So
That's amazing.
So so I'll share a little bit. Conchita, you lost power. Be safe, girl. So I'll share the introduction to it, and then I'll show you some of the resources if you're down for that, Dee.
Of course.
Okay, so it is called Project for the People, and it is called the Progressive Populist Promise. A strategy on how we stop the madness, get the country on track, and build a government that works for the benefit of the people. The majority of the country doesn't like the direction that we are going. The attack on our institutions, violations of civil rights, and erosion of governmental trust have left many people wondering what they can do to, quote unquote, put things back on track. The purpose of this document is to provide answers to that question. Within these pages, you will discover 3 main pathways that will lead us back to a stable, democratic, constitutional republic that works for the benefit of the people. The 3-step process. Number 1 is elections. In order to put progressive populist voices in a position to create legislation, policy, and accountability that works for the benefit of the average person, we must get serious about winning elections. That means developing a new strategy. The foundation of our election strategy is accurate election data. Numbers don't lie, people do. It's not about what people post on their social media, say to the posters, or tell their friends. What people do during that short window of time where they are able to cast their ballots is what matters. So we might do well to start there. Pathway number 2, communities and conversations. Disconnection and voter apathy led to over 80 million registered voters simply choosing not to participate in the 2024 presidential election. Our country won't survive another election with that level of disengagement. That's why it's absolutely essential that we begin cultivating conversations within our communities that are effective, equipping everyday people on how to have productive conversations, even on hard topics, and giving them the framework to know when, where, and with whom to have these conversations is how we move the needle consistently and permanently forward. Pathway number 3, government accountability. Neutralizing the threat that exists within the current administration is imperative as we move closer to the next election. The most effective mechanism for that is the articles of impeachment. The key will be in selecting the individuals to impeach, gathering the most compelling evidence to ensure not only their impeachment, but also their removal, and determining the order in which they should be impeached. When done properly, these 3 objectives will provide an undeniably positive outcome for the people with minimal risk. So a note on Project for the People. We need you. For the People is a citizen-led effort to be ready for the next midterm election scheduled to take place on November 3rd, 2026. By reading this document, you have a responsibility to do what is in the best interest of not only yourself, your family, and loved ones, but also your neighbors, community, and the population as a whole. Girls, don't sing so loud. I love you. Just don't sing so loud. To whom much is given, much is required. And now that you are aware of the movement, you are responsible for the action you do or don't take from here. Progressive campaigns tend to wait until the last 3 or 4 months before the election to start truly organizing and implementing strategy. That will be too late in 2026. Our communities are already too stressed out. The dangers of ICE and DHS are becoming increasingly evident in our neighborhoods, and people may not be able to wait that long. And even if they could, would you be the most effective at that time? Probably not. The time is now. Unlike prominent think tanks, we don't have large financial backers or significant political connections. What we do have is two things: heart and hope. Those are the things that make us most dangerous to this administration and those who would like to see us continue down the path that we are going. It's also what makes us a threat to some members of the Democratic Party, as well as the GOP. While the two parties are not the same, the Democratic Party does share some devastating points of intersection with their conservative counterparts. And it's in those shared values and common goals that they find us a hazard to their agenda. So as of today, they're all on notice, regardless of party. This is a pragmatic approach to politics based on what's in the best interest of people, average, everyday people. And while from a policy perspective that has traditionally leaned to the Democratic side of the aisle, it is not a free pass for re-election, especially without a primary challenger. In 2026, members of the Democratic Party who are currently in office have a small window in which to determine their path forward, because after we win a Democratic majority in Congress in November, we begin the process of challenging and defeating those members who put corporate interest, a particular religion, or any foreign government before the American people. Project for the People needs people across all spectrums to come together and deconstruct the current administrative state and redesign our congressional state. There are those who would have you believe that it's not possible, that we don't have the power. They're wrong, and they know it. If we, the people, didn't have the power to make it happen, they wouldn't work so hard to limit or take it away. Why make it harder to vote? Why silence our voices? Why create media monopolies? Why engage in deliberate misinformation and disinformation campaigns? Because they're afraid you'll realize who the real enemy is and stop fighting the people in the same boat as you. This document is your invitation to support this message and join the movement in the best way possible in your life. What does that mean? It means not everyone will be able to participate in community organizing. Not everyone can run for office. Not everyone can put together community forums, etc. So find where you can be the most effective and that best fits your life, but just be real about it. Don't use it as an excuse for your apathy, your depression, or resignation. Push yourself. We know how badly the other side wants the world that they desire. They wrote a 900+ page playbook on it and developed a coalition of over 50+ conservative organizations to figure out how to make it happen. So it's time to ask yourself, what are you willing to do?
Yeah, my gosh, it's brilliant. Oh, I love it.
So now let me show
amazing.
you. Thank you. So now let me show you this part. I get really excited about this part because this is the work that I've been doing. Because yes, I wrote the document, but what's the document worth if you don't give people resources, right?
Good point.
Yeah. So resources. What does ALEC do? ALEC writes the damn legislation for them and gives it to them. All they got to do is fill in the blank, right? We got to give people resources. So what I did was I started with the first 12 states in 2024 that had margins of 10% or less. And then all of the counties within those states that also had margins of 10% or less. I looked over every federal election that those 12 states have had in the last 5 years, and then looked for the counties that repeatedly had those margins of 10% or less, because maybe you had it one year, but not any other year. You know what I mean? And so let's say I looked at 7 federal elections. If they had 6, if they had 5, if they had 4 in that order of elections where their margins stayed at that 10% or less, then they made my list, right? And so now I'll be doing it for other states as well. So I just finished Texas's data last night, and I'm going to put it in there. But let me show you guys what this looks like. So I am going to find the one tab with the damn spreadsheet on it, because I'm sharing it. So obviously I know where it is.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus Christ, what am I doing? Okay, where is it? I just had it. Oh, that's the other one. See, This is what happens when you have as much going on as I do. Oh, here it is. Okay, I got it.
Sometimes I forget how to write my name, actually. I'm so busy doing stuff.
Okay, so this is when I get excited, Dee, and I would love to hear your thoughts, and I'll share with you kind of what we're going to do with it. But this is what the data looks like. So this is Wisconsin or Michigan, okay? So by the time this is 2020 presidential, this is Senate, this is House, so forth and so on, you get the gist, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what you do is you also look at registered voters not voting, okay? And then when you get down and you do, because I had to look up populations, the number of people registered and all of that, right? So then you get to here, where in Michigan, the margin between the Democratic and the Republican votes was 80,103, okay? In just these 16 counties, 47,000 people voted third party. So these are people that voted, but they voted third party. That's 59% of this deficit. And in these 16 counties, 1.1 million people didn't vote at all. So that's the low hanging fruit, right? In Michigan House District 1, which is largely Republican, with just 4 of these counties ending up in that district, the registered voters not voting and the people that voted third party combined together is enough to cover 53% of the deficit in that one seat. And so you do this for every single, so this is Wisconsin, this is Virginia, this is New Jersey, Georgia, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Minnesota, Arizona, New Hampshire, New Mexico. And I'll be putting Texas's data in today, right? But then what I did was I took information, and I've done this now for 30 of the 50 states, okay? So I see you playing silly like you're a zombie. So
Sleeping and walking.
I see you sleeping and walking. So the Center for American Progress, they broke down how many people were going to lose their Medicaid benefits by 2034, or some or all of their SNAP. And they did it by congressional district. So I've literally done that for 30 out of 50 states so far. So if I picked Washington State, here's all their congressional districts. And I'll show you, so let me go back and I'll show you District 4. So this is Medicaid. And so this is the graphic. And it's 78,000 children and adults are going to lose their Apple Health. And so if your state calls Medicaid a different word, I use the word that your state calls it and then put Medicaid in parentheses so people would know what I'm talking about, right? Because people don't always know that Apple Health is the same thing as Medicaid. And then I give the source for the information. And then also with the source for the information, I've got a source document, and it's all in the Google Drive. So people can actually click this and see it for themselves. I don't want them to take my word for it. And so the other thing that I did is, let's just say if the graphic is, I'm going to choose Georgia real quick. If the graphic has someone that's elderly that looks like a nursing home, so this is Georgia, District 6, 53 people are going to lose their Georgia families Medicaid. 72% of those nursing home residents in Georgia are covered by Medicaid, right? So all of these graphics are available. So what's going to happen next is I have an email to go out for everybody. If you want to watch the presentation, I did a webinar on it, and about 500 people registered for the webinar, and then I put it on my YouTube. So you can go to my YouTube. It's the same as my regular. It's The Dani Cook, and watch it. It's 45 minutes long, but it explains what the whole project is about. So now what happens is I'm getting ready to announce our first meeting, and we're going to meet virtually, and we will plan and practice for our first day of action, which will be in April. So imagine this, Dee, across the entire country, my followers, they cover about 40 states minimum. Okay. So imagine on 40 different states, you had maybe 2 or 3 counties that people are in, that on the same day, everybody went out into their communities with the same information, with the same graphics. I've got others on immigration that say like myth versus fact and stuff like that. And they handed them out. Maybe they put up a table at the farmer's market, but they took pictures of them out doing this work. building connections with their neighbors and their communities. And then everybody uploaded those pictures onto social media with the hashtag for the people, right?
I love it.
And so all of a sudden, you've got a whole movement that's like, oh, this is happening in a lot of different damn states. What in the world, right? And so yeah, so now what I've started is in my link tree, the very first link at the top is how people just register to join and be a part of it. And so I'm the only person that can see the back end. So if I see people, because it asks for your county, your city, and your state. So when I see people in the same city or in the same state or in the same county, I can then contact that group of people together and say, hey, you guys might want to mobilize together. You guys might want to do this as a team. Maybe you can do this county one day and this county the next day and this county, you know what I mean? So that's the whole idea. I'm tired of talking about everything. And I think that people are tired of hearing about it. I think people appreciate you, Devil Dog. I think people want to know, what can I do? Right? And so this is something to do. And what I don't want to do, I'm tired of hearing vote for harm reduction. No, can I vote for some shit I really want? Right? I want to vote for what I want to create. Right? And so this is the goal. And then the third one is government accountability and all of that. So anyway, yeah. So I just finished Texas's data. It'll be I literally do it all manually. And because I have to crunch the numbers. Yeah. And then I go to their Secretary's website and I verify everything. And then I get their population, and then I get their voter registration numbers, and then crunch all the numbers. And there will be graphics with the data stuff. Can you imagine how powerful it would be for people to understand that with just 11 counties, with just 16 counties, with just whatever counties, you could flip that county. And then as a result of flipping the county, you end up flipping the seats.
Yep.
And it's not about who you want to get rid of. It's who does the data tell me we come closest to getting rid of first.
I see that data is where it's at. That's where it's all at. That's the secret.
Yep.
I made a comment. I was wondering, have I ever shown you my closet?
No.
All right, I'll just give you a sneak peek here.
Okay. I'm down for it. Okay.
So, here's my closet.
You are my kind of people.
These are all of the lawsuits brought against the administration for violations of the Constitution or federal law. You can't really see all of it here. My closet wasn't big enough.
I love it.
Tracking them since he came into office.
So let me tell you why this is amazing. Because one of the other things that we were talking about was being able to take that type of information and also put it out for people to be able to see. You know what I mean? So in Michigan, ICE activity in Michigan is up 300%. And then there's a graphic of there are 4 teenagers, all from the same hospital, all from that same high school in Michigan, that are in ICE custody, even though they have active asylum cases.
Oh my goodness.
So D, when I'm telling you, you're my kind of people. When I was doing the medical monopoly, this is no joke. The nurses joined together, and you know how when y'all watch TV, you see the FBI with them big ass boards, right? And they have pictures and post-it notes, and they put them all together. I had that shit in my house.
Yes.
And one side was dry erase, and then you could flip it over, and the other side was the push pin board.
That's right. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Right.
Yeah, I connected all of them dots together, and that's one of my favorite things to do is connect the dots and the players and the motives and kind of the why behind it all. Because too many people are just like, oh, it's just Trump. It's not. If he was out of there today, you still have Russell Vought, who's our shadow president, right?
Yeah.
You still have Russell Vought. You still have Stephen Miller. You still have Kristi Noem, Pam Bondi. You still have Emil Bovee. You still have Dr. Oz, Doug Collins, fucking WWE lady, right?
Right. I call her the wrestler lady.
Yes. But you know that they have a lawsuit right now, don't you?
Well, a couple. Which one are you referring to? The sexual harassment one?
I'm talking about the violating of children.
Oh, that's the third one.
Yeah. Yeah. So the WWE has a lawsuit about children being violated.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
All right, writing that one down.
They sure do.
Going in the closet.
Lynn says she's going to go run and buy stocking Post-its.
I can get you the case name too. I can get you the case name because I know exactly what you're talking about.
Oh, so, yeah.
Grab it. Yep.
I'm just saying. And so, like, it's just, yeah, Hegseth has to go. But see, so there's an order, guys. There's an order in which I believe we could do successful impeachment and removal. Okay. And so the first one I said that needed to be impeached and removed before they took her and put her in another little slot was Kristi Noem. I believe she should be number one, right?
Right.
After her, RFK Jr., and I believe that you could use the measles outbreak in South Carolina to make that happen. And so remember, it's not just about who's worse. It's about who we could get the Senate to back, right? Who could we get them? Yes. And so for me, so like, for example, Bill Cassidy, he is so pissed at RFK Jr. right now because, he's a liver doctor. And he specifically asked about the hepatitis B vaccines and all of those different types of things, right? Yes, she can still be impeached and removed. And so that's the deal. So I said her and then him and then Linda McMahon, because of education, we could absolutely make that happen. There's enough harm that's been done that you could use it for leverage to get them on board. And if you do it right, and you get the impeachments done close enough to the midterms, and you have, because think about it, by the time you have the midterms, Congress isn't going to be able to get shit done. They're going to go home, right? For Christmas. So by the time that happens, you now have the Democratic majority in Congress, and it would be Democratic senators who are the majority and would have to be part of the confirmation. So even though Trump would still be there, whoever he nominated wouldn't get through because you have Democratic senators to hold the line.
Yeah, and they need to be told they need to hold the line.
100%. 100%. And be held accountable.
Absolutely.
100%.
Let's be honest too. As far as Pam Bondi's concerned, I'm sure you both agree, she's more than likely, she definitely is likely to be the last one that anything happens to.
Yes.
And it's because of her unbridled loyalty, and it's because she's just willing to do whatever it takes to not even to keep him happy, but to keep herself out of harm's way, and really to
it is
as long as her mouth is shut, then she thinks there's no eyes on her, which is insane. And
so somebody over here on YouTube said, that sounds like Attorney D. She is awesome. Yeah, so Attorney D is with me, and then L is with me as well. And so D is also a lawyer. She's a constitutional lawyer. Yeah.
What state are you in, D?
I'm in the Central Time Zone.
Gotcha. Say less.
She's like me. I don't say my state either.
Well, I put people in prison, and so they're like,
and I understand that. That's why. Yeah, I understand.
You want to know a funny D about what I did? So back home when I was doing the whole medical monopoly thing, I pissed some people off, right? Imagine that. And I'm
shocked.
Yes. And so there was a particular county commissioner that would make posts that just weren't smart. One of them was he literally talked about white supremacy and some other things. And so I had called for his resignation and then got a petition going and all these things. And so a guy that went to high school in between me and my brother starts sending me messages. And they are threatening messages. He's threatening to torture me. He's threatening to torture my mom, telling me I need to shut my mouth about this particular county commissioner, right? Telling me he belongs to a biker gang there, blah, 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 whatever. So I know legally what to do. So I tell him a couple of times that I'm taking this as a threat. Please don't contact me, blah, 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 blah. He keeps doing it, right? So I take all of those messages. I put them all in a PDF file. I pull out the law and I give the DA's office the actual statute for both harassment and civil rights intimidation, which is a felony, by the way. I give him the statute highlighted with all of the things, send it over. They ended up holding a grand jury. The grand jury indicted. He's now a convicted felon.
Goodness, that's fabulous. We love that.
Yeah. You try it if you want to, fella. But yeah. So, you have to teach them a lesson. They really think that they can do and say anything, especially behind those computers.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Well, and you have to be a person of action, not a person of words. You don't ask for permission. You figure out exactly what you're able to do. You don't talk, you confirm, and then you take action, and you are not the one to notify or put them on notice. You gotta realize how to protect yourself, what role to take, and you really have to be 100% sure exactly what you're doing, what the ramifications of it not going the right way are, all the risks, and then honestly, you just have to pass it off to the next person. It's similar to what we talked about earlier with bringing people in here, trying to teach them a lesson, and teaching somebody a lesson with words isn't going to do it. You have to be a person of action. It's not about the dopamine hit here; it's the long-term payoff.
It is. And so, he when the police went over there and asked him about it, he literally admitted to everything he did, and he was like, "Yeah, but I would never do it. I would never actually do it." And then he said, "Oh, well, he was depressed and he lived in his mother's basement and he was on medication." And I said, "You do realize that makes it even worse, because it means that you are not stable. If you are saying so." Yeah, so that joker couldn't be on social media for so many years. He couldn't do, there were so many things. So it's just.
Sometimes I swear, if you walk up to a curb and you just look at them, all the confessions just come out. I'm looking for bread, and they're like, "Listen, I know I shouldn't have stolen this, but I couldn't help myself." That's one of the reasons I had to leave the town I was in before. I'm like, "Don't confess to me. We're not in a Catholic place here with the booth. Why are you telling me this stuff?"
Yep, you're not protected, bro. So listen, he said Toop said to tell you hi.
Oh.
That's who's over here on YouTube.
Hello.
Yeah. So 100% lives in his mom's basement. But, it's just, this is my thing. So I still have, I was doing Texas's data last night. I still have, I have a list of the additional states that I'm going to do. So I'm going to do Texas, Ohio, Florida, Iowa, South Carolina, Montana, Missouri, Tennessee, and then maybe Kansas and Indiana, right? So that's the additional list for more data. And so it doesn't mean that, did I do Washington State or not? I have people in Washington State. So this is the thing. These I'm going to do the data on. Some states I don't need to do the data, but I still do the graphics for them, right? Because the data is what I want. I want people who are running for office to use. I want people to know, this is the low-hanging fruit, right? If somebody is registered to vote, but they're not voting, that's an easier get than somebody who's never voted at all.
Absolutely.
Right? If somebody is voting and they're voting third party, that's easier than somebody that's not voting at all.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. My hubs just came in, and apparently nobody knows how to put a chicken away. So
I cannot.
I know, right?
So I followed you back. And that way I can check you out. Everybody was singing your praises.
Oh, yeah. Well, same. I had several people being like, "You gotta go talk to her." I was like, "Oh, all right." I was so glad to meet you and Elle.
Yeah, you too.
For sure. Let's keep it going.
100%.
Amazing. I'll probably hang out on your YouTube for a little bit and see what you got going on over there.
Yep.
To catch some stuff. But oh my goodness, I feel not as sad as I felt this morning.
Yeah.
Better.
That's the goal, right? Is because when you look at the numbers don't lie.
Exactly.
Right? And that's just like you tracking court cases. you know that he loses way more than he wins.
Yeah.
But people don't know that.
That's exactly it.
Exactly. All right. Well, take care, everybody.
Yes.
So
Dani,
fun.
nice to meet
Appreciate you, Dee. Looking forward to it.
Yes. Excellent. See you all around.
Sorry, I apologize. Thank you.
Oh, I love that. And I love that everybody was so excited about it.
That is amazing.
Yeah. I love
We had a
that.
lot of drama, but we've also had a lot of good things come out of the last couple
Yeah.
days.
It comes with it. It's okay. Did y'all notice Zach was still in the comments running his mouth? He was still in the comments. I told you, Dani derangement syndrome. He was going, because when I said that if they put corporations, any foreign nation or any religion ahead of the people, he literally said, oh, nice little anti-Semitic shot in there. And I was like, where?
You know, it's unfortunate. Like, we could have had a very productive conversation because him and I don't come from that different backgrounds. Honestly, we don't have that different backgrounds, but he obviously, he's not here for a productive conversation. But had he been, like, we probably could have commiserated over where we both come from and probably found a way to meet in the middle. But again, because he didn't come in good faith, it's not possible. I think that I don't know. I don't think he realizes, not number one, the harm of his words, but number two, that it doesn't have to be like this.
No.
This is not how it has to be. And really, ultimately, we would have come into the conversation and been accepting of him had that been the purpose for it. So
Right. Yeah.
we'll leave it there, though.
And that's my thing. Y'all know I'm very open to be productive and have conversations with absolutely anybody until you demonstrate effectively who you are, and it's useless. And one of the reasons I allowed him to stay so long was not only so that he could sit in his own discomfort, but there were 500 people in the room, and everyone has the benefit of learning from that exchange. Everyone. And so I think it's just something that needs to be pointed out. And so, he can be and think and do however he wants to, but he learned today.
He sure did. But, nobody forced him to be here. He chose to come in here. We gave him the opportunity when he first came in too to not have this. We asked him why he was here, and this is what he wanted to do. So that's what we went ahead and did, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, I want to tell you all what's happening tomorrow. And Elle, if you can let your folks know too, I put it out in my story and on my page. Tomorrow at noon, I will be joined by Jerry Green. She is running for governor of Tennessee against Marsha Blackburn. Tennessee needs anybody but Marsha, damn near. So she's going to join me at the 12 o'clock hour tomorrow morning. So make sure that you are tuned in and listening. If you have loved ones or friends or people that are in Tennessee, please make sure that you let them know that she's going to be joining me. I'm very excited to have this conversation with her. I let them know some of the things that I was going to be asking about. It is 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I'm going to be asking about COPA legislation because there's a new one that's been introduced. I'm going to ask about healthcare and SNAP benefits and her plans to be able to mitigate the impact of those things on Tennessee because of the one big barbaric bill. I told her that I was also going to be asking her about data centers. As you all know, Elon Musk has a huge center down around Memphis that is in a primarily Black community that's very harmful. And then I told her that I was also going to be asking about immigration. Tennessee is one of the states that has introduced legislation to try to basically, it's bringing the federal level of ICE into the state. And so I'm going to be asking her about that as well. So those are just some of the things we're going to talk about. So I'm looking forward to that tomorrow. Also, what I'm going to be talking about too, hey, if you're not following me on Substack, please make sure that you do. My friend Sunny joined us yesterday. Okay. And when Sunny joined me, she let me know that her husband, who's 50, I got you, Shantae, who's 50 years old, died suddenly on Saturday. And it is a direct result of the one big barbaric bill. Okay. because they did not extend the healthcare tax subsidies, her premiums got too big and they could not afford them. 2 years ago, her husband had a heart transplant. And so he needs medication to live, the anti-rejection medications. So she's a veteran like myself. And so she was able to get him on CHAMP VA. But what the VA had not done was removed the primary insurance that she used to have off. And so for over a week, they were asking to remove that and get it expedited because he needed these 2 medications to live. And they said, well, we need to talk to your doctor. And so the doctor would call, but then nobody at the VA would call the doctor back. So for a week, this went on. And then he went to the store on Saturday. And on his way out the store, he collapsed. They were unable to revive him. And so she is now a widow. And it's a direct result of the one big barbaric bill. And she's our friend. She helps lots of veterans get their benefits. And the system absolutely failed her in every way, shape, or form. So I'm going to be writing about that. And a federal judge just blocked RFK Jr.'s overhaul of vaccine recommendations. I'll take the fucking wins where we can get them. But yeah, so if you are in my Discord, I have the GFM that her sister created for her. So please do that, and help out if you can in any way, shape, or form. The federal judge blocked RFK Jr.'s overhaul of vaccine schedules and recommendations. So that's definitely a win. Sunny is going to join me on a live. We've also, I'm putting her in touch with some other journalists around the country. And I think she needs to be, I can put it in there, Shantae. I'll put it in there when we get off. I think that she needs to go testify before Congress, especially as a veteran. And then here's the other part of it. When she couldn't get it from the VA, she said, well, can we just go back to CVS and get it? And they said, yes. Keep in mind, CVS has been giving him this medicine for 2 years. CVS refused to give him the medicine until they talked to his doctor. And so he passed.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, she was on with me last night and she was devastated. So I told her to let me know. About restaurants that are around if because we could DoorDash her some food. I told her to let me know, if there was any particular things of groceries that she wanted. But the big thing right now is, so obviously having a transplant number. Yes, Blue Honey Pot. Yes. So because he had a transplant, he couldn't just get life insurance. Nobody would insure him. So what he wanted was to get a policy that would at least just cover the mortgage, right? So that's what he thought he got. And so he's been paying on that. And she goes to talk to them yesterday, and they tell her, oh, well, no, since it wasn't an accident, we don't pay. So now her mortgage isn't even going to pay off the house because of insurance. Predatory insurance practices are also a huge problem in this country, folks. So like I said, her sister set up a GoFundMe. The link is in my Discord. I will put the link also in my link tree for everybody. And so if you're able to help out and support her, please do. And then the other thing that you can do is, like, when she's on with me, which will be probably Wednesday, make sure that you tune in, make sure that you share it out. You can write a letter about it to your, you can do a, I got you, Vanessa, appreciate it. You can do a letter to your, like a letter to the editor. You can do that. You can write your congresspersons and do that. Because the story, if you share just the GFM with your congressperson, the entire story of what took place is there as well. So yeah, those are the things. Okay. All right. Well, listen, folks, it is 4:44 and I'm going to get off of here so that I can clean house, figure out dinner for these kiddos, get them in the tub and all the things, because they will have school tomorrow because there's no more big storms coming.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. I know we went lengthy and probably off the map today, but it
All
was
good.
really a pleasure.
Yeah, it was a
Yesterday
pleasure
and
having
today.
you. Yeah, it was a pleasure
You are
having you.
amazing.
Anytime. Anytime.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
And thank you to all the Danikins, and especially thank you to Sandy, all of you guys. But I will see you in the streets and in the Discord.
Absolutely.
For sure,
Out here in these TikTok streets. Appreciate you, Elle. All right.
Thank you
So
much.
folks, do me a favor before you get out on TikTok. Make sure that you go up here, that you hit the heart and you claim all of your points so that you have those. Folks that are over here on this side of the world, I really appreciate you all tuning in. I know that it's not the exact same experience because you don't get to see all the guests, but you do get to hear them. And so we try to make it work as best we can until I have a different type of setup that everybody can see everything, you know? So we do the best with what, you know, with what we have. And so I will see you all tomorrow. Yeah, baby. Oh, yes. I will see you all tomorrow. Same place, earlier time than today, but our usual time. And then do not forget to let your friends and family know that Jerry Green will be with me tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon Eastern Standard Time. And we need to make that happen. Okay. Appreciate you all very much. Have a great day.